nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
Hey guys, how is everybody doing? I hope y'all having a great day. So I decided to jump on here and, get into this Diddy trial because I received a lot of messages from you all. So let's kind of get in and just read what's going on in court. Now, I have this thing in my ear because I'm getting some updates from another source, but with regards to the Diddy trial, I believe we are on what day are we? Let me just see. We are on they call it week 3, but I believe it's actually week 2. Because if y'all remember, that first week where it was like jury selection. So with regards to what is happening right now, what I'm seeing is they're saying that, and I can kind of share this with you guys. Let me share my screen. What they're saying now, and we're getting this information from Inner City Press. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with y'all if y'all can see that right there. So what they're saying right now is I believe they said about 4 jurors were late. They have started. It looks like Inner City Press, looked like he tweeted about 6 minutes ago. So they are starting testimony with the personal assistant, Mr. James. Okay. So it looks like that's where they are. I know they initially said that they were going to start at about 9 o'clock, but I think they are starting early. So let's see what's going on. So what they have is they're labeling this as day 7. So I don't know why people are saying 3 weeks in, because what they're saying this is day 7 of the trial. Okay. So in day 7, we have the personal assistant who's actually going to testify. And we also have Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura. Ventura, whatever. I can't even pronounce the name. Okay, so the personal assistant is going to testify, and we're going to get into that and see what is actually being said here. Let's see. So it looks like they're waiting around because, like I said, some jurors were late. So let's kind of get into what they're saying here. Kind of like a little delay, if you will. Let's kind of update this. So give me a moment. Let me update it and see what they're saying here. Let's see. All right, let's get into this video, y'all. Let's get into it.
And we're with the person.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second here. All right.
Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Now, we're going back in for the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial, day 7. Day 7, we're with the personal assistant on the stand. The chef is coming up, also the mother of Cassie Ventura. Now, we're covering in great detail, and you can find it on various platforms, and including we did a week 1 ebook that's available on Google Play. You can find it. But yesterday, in terms of the procedure and the openness of the trial, we have this development to report. Last week on Thursday, I filed into the docket a letter to say that too much is not going into the docket, that every morning the lawyers come in and say what we filed overnight, Your Honor, and he issues rulings. Well, the way it works is that these are judicial documents. Anything that's submitted to a judge, particularly in a criminal case, but even in civil litigation, this is supposed to be public. And so he basically said, we've received an application from the press, that's Inner City Press, and he directed them to, I guess, spend a week redacting the things they've been filing in the first part of the case so that next Tuesday they put them in. That's a week from today. And he said thereafter, do it once a week. I don't know. First of all, it's that.
Okay, guys, let me kind of touch on what he's talking about. Let me kind of touch on that. So that is the guy from Inner City Press who is live tweeting in the courtroom. What he's basically saying is there's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes that we don't get to see. But what they're hearing in court is you'll hear the judge, you'll hear one of the attorneys say, I filed this motion, or you'll hear the prosecutor say, I filed this motion. But what they're doing is they're not sharing it in the case. So essentially, if you were to go and look this case up on Pacer, you would actually have to use Pacer because it is a United States court case. You would be able to see all of the documents. But what he's saying is you're not able to see it because they're not making the documents readily available. So what Inner City Press did is, and this is what he's speaking to, Inner City Press filed a motion to say, hey, as a member of the public, we want to be able to see all of the documents that have been filed in this case. So that is what he's speaking to. I just wanted to give y'all some background so y'all can understand what he's saying. Basically, what he's saying is Inner City Press submitted a motion themselves to say, hey, and they referenced the statute. And pretty much what they said is this case, because, the public has a right to know, you guys have to allow the public to see the documents. Now, in some situations, it may be a document that we can't see, or it may have, a witness's information that they don't want us to know about. So in that case, what they would do is just redact the information. But what he's saying is the information is just not available.
That's on too much of a delay. And number two, I could see that sliding. He didn't say on which day of the week to do it, how to do it on a rolling basis. And so it seems like a setup for a problem. So there may have to be other filings, but at least we've gotten to first base. So we're leading off first, and we may try to steal second. Not steal second, we deserve second. So I actually just did I guess I don't know, somebody else's podcast at greater length about this, and it did make me think that one, Combs may be calling in the Georgia duo of Steele and Westmoreland more often because they seem to take a more aggressive approach. And, just looking at it in terms of strategy, if you didn't plead guilty, it's because you think the witnesses are lying. And if you think the witnesses are lying, you should ask them if you can, are you lying? Why is your story so different? That happens all the time. People speak to the government a number of times, and the stories aren't always exactly the same. And it can be explained away, but if there's too many differences, this is what a cross-examination is supposed to focus on, not a bunch of reading back years and years of emails. Just a critique. Let me move to another SDNY case. There's a number of them, and we do our best, especially now that the trial ends at 3, to run and cover them. Yesterday there was a white-collar criminal called Leach. $600 million are missing. He's out on the lam. He's out on bail, and he'll have a trial in, I guess, April 2026. But there's another guy. It's even worse. Jonah Rechnich. Now, if you're a New Yorker, you may remember this. He was part of a Bill de Blasio corruption scandal. Well, he's putting back his sentencing yet again, this time to August 12th. Jonah Rechnich, maybe never to be sentenced. He's out in L.A. Kobo. It was a union, and he owes some restitution. There's a big fight, and he doesn't want to pay. And you can check it out. But he put in a sealed filing asking for a delay. We don't know why, and he got it until August. Also, the United Nations. Yesterday, we published a scoop, an exclusive, in which Courtney Rattray, the chief of staff of Antonio Guterres, wrote to various agencies saying, how can we save money in this era of Trump by moving jobs out of the United States? Well, I can say, you're welcome. Please do go, because if you can't abide by the First Amendment, you shouldn't be here. We've applied to re-enter the UN, and we will not rest. But for now, we won't rest because we're going into the courthouse for Diddy, day 7. To be continued. Okay, here we are, Matthew.
Okay, guys, I just wanted to explain that to y'all. So, what he's explaining is pretty much they filed these motions to tell the court, hey, we need you guys to pretty much unseal the documents. And if it's something that the public should not be able to see, we need you to just redact the document, but we need you to make the document public, which is, pretty much what the public wants to see. Okay, so let's get into this one, y'all. We got some more information here. And this is coming from, give me a moment. And if you guys are just coming in, please go ahead and like the video. Please share the live. As y'all know, I don't really go live very much, but I said that I was going to start going this week, and people kept telling me to talk about the Diddy trial. So here I am. Okay, so as I said, the ex-assistant David James of Diddy is taking the stand. So this is what was updated about a minute ago. Now, in the second week of the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking and racketeering trial continues today, with more government witnesses expected to take the stand, including Combs' former personal chef and a male escort, and Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura. So this is what's happening today. So this is what happened about 14 minutes ago. Judge Subramanian has repeatedly praised the jury's timeliness, noting at the start of the court Tuesday that it looks like juror number 5 had alerted the court that they would be 10 minutes early, not 15. Nevertheless, the start of the David James testimony has been delayed briefly, as 4 jurors had yet to arrive by 9 a.m. Remember, I said that, and they were talking about they were having transportation issues. Now, David James, a former personal assistant to Sean Combs, is back on the witness stand. Now, so what they're saying is they're kind of updating us, but what ended up happening is they would normally start by now, but it was delayed. So they're saying, okay, we were delayed because jurors were late. So now we got this guy back on the stand. And what James is expected to discuss is he's going to get into the incident involving Combs' industry rival, record producer Suge Knight. Now, if you guys remember, and if you don't, I'm just going to remind you, we are not going to go and read the document. But if you guys remember in Cassie's original lawsuit, what she said is that They were doing whatever their intimate thing was, and somebody told Puffy that Suge Knight was down the street, and he jumped up, went and got, the pow because he got an issue with Suge Knight. So that is what they're referencing here. Okay. So James is expected to discuss an incident involving Combs' industry rival and record producer Suge Knight. Now, the defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said that pretty much that what he's going to speak to is irrelevant, and it's not about anything that we are doing in this courtroom. So I like the defense attorney because, I mean, they're really good. So what Mark Agnifilo is saying, what Diddy's ex-assistant is testifying, Mark is like, okay, we don't care really about what happened between Diddy and Suge Knight because it's not relevant to what's happening in this courtroom, which is a good defense. But I think what the case that they're trying to build is that, Sean is dangerous. But I don't know about y'all, but to me, it seems like they've made that case. But I guess Mark is like, look, that has nothing to do with what we're talking in this courtroom. So Judge Subramaniam said he would like to see Regina Ventura's testimony before making a ruling that could limit her ability to talk about the $20,000 she wired Sean Combs back in 2011. So let's kind of get into that. So, I know y'all wondering like, dang, why is Cassie mother, sending Sean Diddy Combs $20,000? Because I wouldn't have sent him shit. Okay. So apparently what they're saying is that, Cassie was messing around with, what's that guy's name? I forgot his name. Kid Cudi. So keep in mind, Diddy supposedly introduced Cassie to Kid Cudi because, he was trying to, I guess, help her career, and thought that with her doing the whatever she was going to do with Kid Cudi, it would advance her career. But then Cassie ended up having a relationship with him, right? So what Diddy did is he kind of told her mama, look, you need to give me my money back. You are responsible for taking care of your daughter, yada, yada. So Diddy asked Regina, which is Cassie's mama, you need to give me my money back. So this is what they're talking about. So the Judge Subramanian said he would like to see Regina Ventura's testimony before making a ruling that could limit her ability to talk about the $20,000 that she wired Sean Combs in 2011. Now, listen, I'm trying to be impartial here, and I'm going to be impartial. But why is Sean, millionaire, billionaire, asking somebody's mama to pay him $20,000? I don't understand. What does Cassie mama have to do with whatever decisions Cassie made and whatever he had going on with Cassie? Leave that lady mama out of it. So she's going to testify to that. Now, this happened in 2011. Now, so let me go back. So which prosecutors framed as a compensation for money Combs spent on her daughter, Cassie. Remember, I said that they were saying that, well, I shouldn't say they were saying, pretty much Diddy wanted his money back because he like, girl, you messing with Kid Cudi. You need to give me my $20,000. Okay. The prosecution said that it believes the exchange speaks to the corrosion. I can't say that word. Corrosion. I can't get it out. And control Combs' exercise over Ventura during their relationship. Okay, so I can't say coercion today, y'all. So they're wanting to use this incident. It doesn't really apply, but what they're trying to do is build to the jurors to see what type of person he is. Now, I believe that they have done that, but what Diddy's attorneys is saying is it's irrelevant because it doesn't really have anything to do, with what he's being charged with in this case. But the prosecution is like, nope. So the defense is not denying that Sean Combs demanded $20,000 from his ex-girlfriend Cassie's mother. So the defense, which is Sean's attorneys, they are not denying that it didn't happen. They just don't feel like it's relevant. Okay. So they're not denying that he did not ask for the $20,000 from his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, but the lawyers argue the exchange wasn't relevant. They say Regina Ventura did wire money to Combs, but it was returned shortly thereafter. Oh, okay. So we didn't know that part. No money ever left Ventura's possession on an ongoing basis. Now, the defense attorney, Mark Anifilo, said, adding that the antidote introduces confusion without a great deal of purpose. Okay, so I can kind of understand what the defense is saying. Although it looks like she didn't actually pay because somehow she got the money back. So I guess I can kind of understand that. But of course, the prosecution is going to bring out anything they can, honey. What did you think? Okay, so Mark is like, this is irrelevant. So Sean Combs is sitting directly to Agnifilo's left at the defense table in a blue sweater and a white collar shirt with his legs crossed and his hands on his lap. Now, prosecutors would like to ask Regina Ventura about a demand for the $20,000 they say Sean Combs made to her. Combs allegedly said he had spent that amount on Cassie Ventura and wanted to be compensated after she was involved with another man. Okay. The government said it believes the incident is strong proof of coercion, suggesting that Combs was continuing to keep Ventura in his sphere because she was attempting to leave the relationship. Okay, do that make sense? So what they're trying to do is build a case to say, hey, this man was trying to pretty much keep tabs on her, is pretty much what they're saying. Now, Judge Subramaniam has greeted the defense and prosecution teams who are discussing the defense pending objection regarding the upcoming testimony of Cassie's mom, okay, which is Regina. The testimony, the government says they will focus on events that took place on the December 2011 when Cassie's Ventura went home to Connecticut, shared details with her mom about his threats and everything. Okay, so let's see what updates, y'all, we got now. Just give me a second. Let me flip to the other screen because we kind of went backwards, but just give me a moment here to jump back because it updates every all right, give me a moment. Okay, all right, so let's jump on over to this one to see what's going on. How's everybody doing this morning? All right, I'm just pretty much jumping from screen to screen here. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen here so y'all can see. Let's share. Okay, so we're going to jump back over to Inner City Press. Just give me a moment here, y'all. So what happens is you got to constantly refresh it because you just have to. So I got to refresh it here. All right, so let's go now. I got to work my way up here. Okay, as if y'all remember, we were waiting on the jurors here. So it looks like he has taken the stand. All right, let's see what they're saying. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's see what they're saying. So David James, I said, wait a minute, what is the question? Oh, okay. So AUSA, how did you go about replenishing these supplies? I don't like how they have these. It's so confusing. He said, I set up the medicine bag in the personal Louis Vuitton bag. She says, what was in it? He said a Viagra, ecstasy, and perks. Why is this looking so missing or something? And then he says something about I use my personal credit card. Bad boy paid me back. Oh, I don't like how they do this, y'all. It is so confusing. AUSA, what do you do for Mr. Combs in New York? He said, I bring him applesauce. What? What is this? Wait a minute. I got to reread this. This is too weird, y'all. What? He said, okay, what do you do for Mr. Combs in New York? Y'all help me out here. He said, I bring him applesauce, Jello, Fuji water, his toiletry bag with ointments just for men. We bought 40 items so he wouldn't call us later. I get a key like at the Trump International. What? Y'all, this is kind of weird here. I don't like how inner city press does it. It's kind of hard to follow, actually. Oh, this is kind of giving weird. Okay, y'all, let's jump. Let's jump from this and look at my other source because I don't really like how inner city press does it. It's really hard to follow. All right, let me see here. Okay, this is better. Okay, this is better. Maybe he did something funky, child. I don't know, but let's jump back over. Inner city press. It look a little better now. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. He's updating this like, all right, y'all. Just give me a second. Give me a second. All right, so this looks better. All right, so we talked about, David saying that, he would bring these different supplies. He would bring Combs Fuji water and all of that weird shit. All right, okay, so let's see. Okay, he said, AUSA, how was she? I feel like it's missing something. It says, how was she sleeping? How was who sleeping? That is so weird. It says, how was she sleeping? And David James says, on her back. Now, Sean Combs' lawyer objection, and the judge sustained. And he goes, there was another person who sort of scurried away and the shower was on. I thought Mr. Combs was in there. I just don't. All right, y'all, give me a moment. I'm going to jump over to my other source. I just don't like the inner city press. They updates is so, I don't like it. Okay, let me jump over to my other source. I don't like the inner city press, child. They just, all right, give me a second. Let's go to the Washington Post. Let me go down. All right, give me a second. I don't like the inner city press. Just give me a second. All right, y'all, give me a second. All right, give me a second, y'all. Okay. All right. I'm just going to stick with them. It's just hard. Theirs is so hard to read. Ooh, I don't like it. Okay, y'all. So James is on the stand and he's being questioned here. I just don't like how they do it. It's so hard. So they're asking him about another person that could have been in the room. And can y'all see this? Okay, yeah, you can see it. So he's asking her about another person, or asking her. He's being asked about another person who could have been in the room, right? So he's saying that it was another person there that was about 5'8" with long hair and a large endowment. Okay. He scurried away. He said, did you ask him anything? He said, I wasn't hired to ask about their personal affairs. So I guess they're trying to get him. It's just, I'm like laughing. Ooh, yeah. Thank you, Angie. Because I'm like, what? So, okay. So what is happening is they're asking his assistant pretty much about the freak offs. But the part that, I mean, they did deny that this was actually happening. So apparently the assistant saw some man with a big thing is pretty much what he's saying. So they're just asking him questions about, did he say anything to the person? And he's like, well, I wasn't hired to do that. This is so, I mean, this is crazy. So AUSA, did you ever pick up drugs for Mr. Combs? He said, yes, Percocets at a pharmacy, sometimes in my name. So this dude is on the stand, admitting that he committed a crime because you are picking up drugs for somebody else in your name. I guess anything for a job, I guess. So he said he definitely picked up perks in his name for Combs. He said, and then AUSA, did you give him permission to use your name? Listen to this. Now, this is the thing that's a little bit kind of frustrating about this trial. Some of these people are lying, because are you saying that somebody used your name, you went and picked up the drugs that had your name on it, and you never questioned it? Like, okay, dude, why are you using my name? That's, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, this is, it just seems like he's not being honest. Okay. So the ex-assistant is pretty much saying he picked up drugs for Combs in his name. And then when asked, did he give him permission to use his name? He said, I don't recall. That's crazy. And then AUSA goes on to say, was there a drug dealer? Yes, one stop. So I guess one stop. All these people are a little bit off. Like, this is like, how are you allowing, somebody to actually get some stuff in your name and you not know? Y'all, let's jump over to another source here. Just give me a second. Because some Inner City Press, they haven't really, let's see if they updated something. Let's see here. Because the guy is pretty much saying that he picked up drugs, but he said he did not give him permission to actually get drugs in his name. So I'm just, okay, here's some, okay. Yeah, this is, okay, so there's another one, y'all, that we didn't get into. Let's get into that one. All right, so he said, AUSA. Now, AUSA is the government. Did anything strange ever happen? Yes, in Miami, he asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel and knocked. No answer. I had the key. I set up the room. What did you see? Cassie on the bed. I mean, I'm just trying. Okay, so Cassie was on the bed. I guess I can kind of see why the attorney was like, why is he testifying? Because we already know about, the freak offs and, Cassie participating. So we'll see, what this guy, what he's bringing to this trial. Okay, so this one just updated about 49 seconds ago. AUSA. Can y'all see it? AUSA. It says he met with a lot of people. He's asking the question, I guess. She's saying, did he meet with a lot of people? Look at this, y'all. Look at this, y'all. Everybody going down. Everybody going down. Listen, y'all. AUSA, which is the the prosecution's attorney. Y'all got to take a drink of my coffee. Iced coffee, right? Listen, David said that Diddy even met with former presidents. Y'all, James finna come up missing. James finna come up missing. Listen, you is talking a little bit too much. James said, y'all, listen to this. So she's asked him a question about the people that he met with. And David James is saying, yes, he even met with former presidents. Who gonna say that on the stand? Not me. I'm not doing it. Why you gonna put President Obama in this? Yes, even former presidents. Which one? Former President Obama, y'all. I'm done. Did y'all? Y'all, I'm choking. Y'all, I gotta take a time out. I gotta take a time out. Let me just get a little bit of coffee. James will not be around by next week. Y'all, James is done. Your life ain't worth it, bro. Don't be mentioning names. I would not be mentioning no names. Y'all, I gotta read this again. Woo, y'all. He said that he met with former presidents. She said, which one? He gonna say former President Obama. AUSA, what was your understanding? Ooh. What would have happened if you had done these things? And then Agnifilo is objecting. Y'all, this is too much. He done put Obama up in this, y'all. Woo-wee. So David is saying we had a videographer who filmed the party. So they're saying that it was, y'all, this is too much. They had somebody who would film the parties. He asked me, he asked me, her Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party? I said yes. And he said, I'm going to keep the video in case you ever need it, meaning that I'd be embarrassed. So I guess what James is saying, they had somebody to videotape these parties. They videotaped it and filmed it. And maybe James was, being some type of Playboy weirdo, and he was dancing around at the party, is what I'm reading. And for some reason, he's saying that the video was kept and that he was told that, what he's saying is, in so many words, that he was told the video would be used to embarrass him. But, this is my only question for these people. It just seems like some of these people would have done anything for money, because you dancing around as a Playboy bunny somewhere with somebody with a video, and you looking like a fool. I don't know. AUSA, did you ever take ecstasy? Yes, I was drinking Ciroc. I took ecstasy. I was Diddy bopping. What is that? I was Diddy bopping. AUSA, what do you mean? He said I was vibing. So if y'all was vibing, is y'all gonna say y'all was Diddy bopping? I'm confused. AUSA, did you speak with Mr. Combs about it? He was reviewing the footage at the party. Y'all, they done put President Obama in this. Oh my gosh. I am like, woo-wee. All right. AUSA, did anything ever go missing? James, they said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Pauline came to my hotel room and searched my belongings and those of my girlfriend at the time. Could you have said no? And Agnifilo is like, objection. The judge is like, move on. Because what they're trying to establish, which I feel like they done brought this point home with, Combs, Sean Diddy, it just seems like he is a dangerous person. I think they have, pretty much brought that point on. And Agnifilo is like, listen, objection, move on. So, this testimony is pretty much seeming like he's really going to talk about the freak offs. And I don't know about y'all, but I done heard enough of the freak offs. I want to, know about the part where that shows more of the force. AUSA, did you ever have to take a lie detector test? James, yes. Who was present? So she asked him, had he ever took a lie detector test? He says, yes. She said, who was present? Just me and this gentleman. He said it was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head and chest and my hand. Could you refuse? Not to keep my job. I don't know, y'all. How much, what are you willing to do for a job? Okay, so there's still okay, so that's pretty much, let's see. Ooh, let's see if it, updates anymore because he's being questioned. So James is on the stand singing like a bird. He done brought Obama in this. This gonna make, whew, my God, Obama is like, how the hell did I get in it? All right, let's update it. See what they saying now. All right. So nothing after did you take the lie detector test? Let's see what they saying. These tweets are a little bit odd. You gotta like update it. Okay, so let's jump over y'all to something else while we wait. And give me a second. I'm gonna jump over to my other little source while they updating that. Let's see what they saying in other blogs here. Let's see here. Okay. So what I do like, y'all, so what we're going to do is we're going to backtrack a little bit because I do like the tweets from Inner City Press, but what I don't like is a lot of times they're cut off. So we're going to hop over to the next source, which is the Washington Post. I do like theirs a lot better. It is more understandable because it's kind of in longhand. You can read it. A lot of the tweets are kind of short and it's kind of cut off. So let's kind of get into some of what he said, which is giving us the full context. Okay, so let's get into that. Because I think Inner City Press, I think they do a great job, but the only thing, it doesn't really tell the full, obviously they're trying to give y'all live tweets. So let's get into this one because it actually is more lengthy. So let's get into it. So what, Sean Combs' former personal assistant told the court is that he would work 6 or 7 days a week, sometimes 20 hours a day, and sometimes for weeks on end. He recounted that while interviewing for the job, he was told by an HR exec at Bad Boy Entertainment, "This is Mr. Combs' kingdom. We are all here to serve in it." Prosecutors have said they hope to use James' ongoing testimony to help establish their racketeering charge, essentially that Combs used an organization of people to facilitate his alleged abuse. Okay, I got it. Okay, so it makes sense, y'all. It really makes sense. So like I said, we'll jump over to different ones because like I said, I like Inner City Press, but sometimes a little bit cut off. So what they're doing is they're using James to help them build the case as far as this is a criminal organization. Okay, so now it makes sense because I was like, what are they, what is this guy James, what is he actually testifying to? But what James is actually testifying to is one of the charges, because keep in mind, with this case, they need to be able to prove every one of those charges. And if y'all remember, one of those charges is pretty much racketeering. So what they're doing is they're using James to be able to prove the racketeering charge with regards to this case, because what James is pretty much testifying to is, dude say he worked 20 hours a day. He said he had to take a pretty much he needed to be screened, and he had to take all these, what is that, what kind of test is that? I can't remember. A lie detector test is pretty much what he's saying. And he's saying that with regards to Combs' staff, they pretty much saying, listen, if you're going to work here, this is his kingdom. We all serve him. So if you're going to be over here, you need to be able to do pretty much anything we tell you to do. So what they're doing is they're trying to establish with James that this is a criminal organization. I mean, think about it, y'all. Working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, I want to know what his check was looking like, because that's a lot of work. And this is what they say: prosecutors have said they hope to use James' ongoing testimony to help establish their racketeering charge. Essentially, that Combs used an organization of people to facilitate his pretty much all the stuff he was doing. So they're saying that, he used people to kind of facilitate it. And what I had to do, y'all, I wanted to look up racketeering, and for a quick moment, let me share my screen with y'all, because sometimes I like to look stuff up because I forget. Okay, so to be able to prove racketeering, it says racketeering is often associated with the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization, which is RICO. So that's what he's charged with. Refers to a pattern of illegal activities carried out by an organized group to gain financial profit. But also what I learned is it's not always that they're going to, they may not gain financial profit. It involves engaging in a variety of crimes, including extortion, bribery, money laundering, and drug trafficking in all of its whatever components or whatever. So it makes sense. Now y'all can see why the prosecution is asking these basic questions, like, were there drugs and yada yada. So they are on to prove their case is pretty much what they're doing. So that makes sense, because I was like, why they keep asking James these same damn questions that we already have the answers to. So what they're doing is they are further proving their case, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's jump back into it. And also too, the reason why they constantly ask about the abuse, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, listen, we done heard about the abuse for this and that. So what they're trying to do is establish, like, this is who he is. If y'all remember, the prosecution was saying that, yeah, he was abusive, but that's because he was on, he was high. But what they're trying to establish is like, no, he wasn't high. This is just who this dude is. Because they want to constantly talk about the different abuses. Now, Sean Diddy Combs traveled with a large supply of prescription and illegal drugs, including pills that were stamped with President. Oh, y'all, this is too much. Stamped with President Barack Obama's face on them. His former assistant, David James, testified. Y'all, what in the hell is going on here? He got President Obama all up in this. All right, y'all, did y'all see this? Sean Diddy Combs traveled with a large supply of prescription and illegal drugs, including pills that were stamped with President Barack Obama's face. Y'all know what? See, I got a problem with this, because why y'all putting President Obama in this bullshit? Like, seriously, seriously, are y'all really putting, y'all, this is too much. Yeah, we need to read this again, because this is just too much. Why is President Obama in this? Why? Sean Diddy Combs traveled with a large supply of prescription and illegal drugs, including pills that were stamped with President Obama's face on it. What? Huh? This is too much. I'm going to just scroll on up. So let's jump on over to my next source. Yeah, I don't know what y'all feeling in the chat, but I don't understand how the hell did President Obama get in this conversation. So now y'all want to prove, tie President Obama to this bullshit. Ooh, these folks, child. All right, y'all. This is getting a little crazy. They done put President Obama in this, y'all. All right, so why they are updating, because like I said, the New York Post is great, but they're a little delayed. So let's go back to our next source and see what we missed here. Y'all, they done put President Obama in this shit. All right, so let's go back. We got to go back. Okay. All right. So this is pretty much how we'll work it. We'll read from the tweets at Inner City Press, and then we'll follow it up with the Washington Post, because I like the Washington Post. They just a little delayed. The Washington Post is delayed. Yeah, they are very delayed. So let's get back into Inner City Press. So back to Inner City Press. Inner City Press, they don't really got much on there either. All right. What did we miss here? Okay. So if y'all remember, we left off, we talked about the lie detector test, right? We talked about that. So David James, wait a minute. Okay, so let's go back. He talked about the lie detector test. He talked about that he had to take the lie detector test. And he also said that she asked who was there. He said it was just him and this gentleman that, you know, was very intimidating to him. He said they put monitors on his head and his chest, which is, you know, I just feel like this assistant is doing some lying, because it said, could you refuse? So it seems like he could have refused, but he didn't refuse, because if he did, he couldn't keep his job. So that's pretty much what he said. And I don't know, you know, what these people, you know, what their thought process is, but I'm not working anywhere where I feel intimidated. It is other jobs. So let's get back into it. He said, I saw someone hand Suge Knight a pow pow. Rock said, we got to get out of here. We drove back to the house. AUSA, what did you find there? Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got in the vehicle. I saw 3 pow pows on his lap. So what he's doing is, you know, if you guys remember in Cassie's original lawsuit, she talked about Suge Knight and Sean Combs like, yep, I'm finna get that ninja. He runs down to the diner. I mean, I guess we're gonna see where this road leads us, because I don't know. And then it says, David James, D-Rock said that MFer Suge Knight, he went over and said, what's up? Suge didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, I'm Biggie's boy. AUSA, what happened next? David James, we noticed 4 black SUVs to different sides of the parking lot. So he's talking about the situation with Suge Knight and Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. So what I'm getting from this is they're trying to establish again, you know, that the man is dangerous. And I personally, I think they established that, but I guess they want to keep drilling that point to hell, because I mean, I think we probably all would believe that. Yeah, so I'm not sure who's lying. So I need somebody's in the chat saying Barack Obama had a part in this. I mean, ma'am, I don't know who had a part in it. We don't know who lying and who's telling the truth. We know it's the prosecution, and then we know it's the defense, and that's why they have the prosecution and the defense. Keep in mind, this guy has not been cross-examined, so we don't know what the process is. I'm just reading it, and I'm going to be open to everything without making a decision either way, because I know people lie. I've been around a long time. I believe in victims and, you know, people that's went through certain things. But what I also have learned in all of my years of living, because I've lived a long time, honey, I just look like this, is they lie too. They lie. And it's not to say that there aren't victims who don't tell the truth. But unfortunately, we live in a world where people lie, because if people told the truth, we wouldn't have this process, because you would just believe what the person says. So for me, I don't know what happened until, you know, the prosecution is, you know, they have the witness, right? So this is the witness answering for the prosecution. Keep in mind, now the defense is going to cross-examine. Now, if you recall, with some of these witnesses, when the defense cross-examine them, they fall to shreds. So if you are telling the truth and you're cross-examined, it is what it is. So I got to wait for both sides and kind of make the determination, because if y'all been following anything about this case, there's some lies and there's some truth on both sides. Like both of these sides is telling some lies. And we saw this. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So let's see what we're getting from. So keep in mind, y'all, this is just the prosecution. His side, the Diddy side has not, they have not questioned this witness yet. So it looks like, AUSA is asking this guy, how did he feel? He said, I felt calm because we've been in a silver vehicle, now a black one, they wouldn't see us coming. AUSA, what did you find at Mel's Diner? David James, this is what he said. Suge Knight had left. Mr. Combs said driver on the block. So keep in mind, in Cassie's lawsuit, she said that Sean went down to the diner to get Suge. So they're pretty much just talking about what happened. She's like, was Suge there? He's like, no, Suge had left. But Puffy like, let's find him. So that's pretty much what they're saying. That's pretty much what he's testified to. So AUSA, what did you decide? And he said, listen, I decided to leave. I mean, good for him, because I don't understand why you would stay. So at some point, this guy, David James, decided to leave. Great, good, because listen, I'd have been left. So David is saying he decided to leave the company. They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk. I don't know. David James might be telling the truth, because at least he left. I mean, because I don't know who would stay around somebody like this. James said he left. Y'all see it? He said he decided to leave the company. He said my life was at risk. Now, no further questions. So y'all, the good part is now we're going to get to the defense. Now, Judge Mr. Ignifilo. So he's asking, Diddy's attorney, it's your turn. You get to cross-examine this witness. Ignifilo, you didn't tell all this the first time. Now y'all see where it kind of get a little weird, because now the defense is now questioning him and like, bruh, you didn't say this before. And this is what I'm saying. I don't want to just take one side. I need to hear all sides. So now Diddy's attorney is like, for real, bruh, that ain't what you said the first time. Again, I believe that it's some truth, but I do believe it's some lies too. And this is what we're going to get into both sides. So now he's getting ready to be cross-examined. And Mark Ignifilo is like, okay, nice story, but that's not what you said the first time. So let's get into that. And we may need, let's see if we can kind of backtrack and get some more context to what, did they update it yet? Let's see. I don't think so. Nope. So Washington Post did not update yet. So we're going to keep on rolling with the inner city press. Okay, so y'all, is about to get real, because he's going to be cross-examined. So let's see what Ignifilo is saying. Okay, good. Okay, y'all, we smoking now. All right, so let's get into it. Let me stop sharing and then share again. All right, give me a second here. Wait a minute, y'all, because I got this up twice and I need to get, okay, let me get up out of here, because I got this on here twice. All right. Why is this screen share? Okay, so let's get into it. Good morning, Rashonda. Okay, y'all, so he's being cross-examined. Let's get into it. Let me scroll down. All right, so Diddy's attorney is now cross-examining this guy. So remember, he said, yeah, I decided to leave the company because my life was at risk, which, hey, you should have. Now, this is Ignifilo. Keep in mind, this is the defense. This is Puffy's attorney. And he's asking him, were you drinking or smoking pot? He said, no, sir. Ignifilo is saying, your mind was clear. So he asked him, was you on something, dude? Was your mind clear? Was you good? Were you good? And James said, as clear as it could be, working 20 hours a week at 4 a.m. I mean, I like James because James is like, look, I'm working 20 hours a day starting at 4 a.m. I mean, I'm as clear as I can be. I get it. Okay, James, we good. So he's saying he worked 20 hours a week starting at 4 a.m. See, I would be fired because I'm not going nowhere for no amount at 4 a.m. In fact, I want to start working out. And I mean, it ain't at 4 a.m., but I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get there at 6 a.m. But 4 a.m., baby, fire me. So Agnifilo says, so D-Rock opens the door. Suge Knight is a few cars over. And then David James say the windows were open. David James say, they told me to stop, to not say anything. What? I'm sorry. He's okay. Let's go back. So David said, they told me to stop, to not say anything that would incriminate me. Agnifilo said, look at the notes from your interview. Ooh. So Agnifilo is saying, look at your notes. You're not being honest. That's what I'm getting. He said, look at the notes from your interview. Read it to yourself. Then look at me. So apparently, James, the information that he's saying now is not what he said before, which again, y'all, and that's what I'm saying. I don't like to just take whatever they say. We got to let these people be cross-examined because what Diddy's attorneys is saying, okay, but you do realize that when you gave your interview before, you didn't say none of this, is pretty much what he's saying. He's like, look, that's not what you said before. He said, look at your notes from your previous interview and look at me. So James said, okay, how did you recognize Suge Knight? He said, I listened to hip hop. All right, let's refresh this. So I guess he's going to get into what he said and what he really said in the interview. Agnifilo. Oops. Oh, wait a minute. Agnifilo said, did you leave D-Rock at the diner? And he says, so Agnifilo is asking two questions. He said, did you leave D-Rock at the diner? And why are you smiling? Agnifilo is, listen, he said, cuz that's a crazy question. Why would I? Okay, so Agnifilo says, okay, so I'm sorry. James said, D-Rock says, I'm Biggie's boy, and then Suge recognizes him, gives him a dab. Agnifilo says, what's a dab? So he's saying it's a handshake. All right, y'all. Let's see if we can jump back over to the other sources, see what theirs is. Let's see if they caught up. This little, let's see here. No, they not. They ain't updated yet. All right, so we're gonna keep with Inner City Press because the other one is not quite updated yet. They kind of like piecing it together, child. Okay. So James is being questioned about the situation with the diner, about Puffy, and let's see, has it been updated, y'all? I feel like I should have some wait music because kind of got to wait until they update it with, with the information here. All right. Okay. So it looked like they updated it. Okay. Okay. So Agnifilo, didn't you leave D-Rock at the diner? And James says, that makes no sense. Agnifilo, I'm not asking what makes sense. I'm asking, did you? So you got to answer the question. So he says, didn't you leave D-Rock at the diner? And then James says, that makes no sense. And Ignifilo is like, just answer the question. I'm not asking you what makes sense. I'm asking you, did you leave him? So James said no. Ignifilo, you saw, or I think he means you said you saw Cassie with Mr. Combs. And David says, yes, Mr. Combs told me to drive. All right, let's see if it's updated, y'all. So we can get the next little question. All right, let's see. All right, y'all, let's jump over to the other source for a second. Yeah, it is cool, but it's kind of like, I feel like I need to have some transition music because it's like, and they're doing a great job because I would never be able to, do this and be typing. They're doing an amazing job, but sometimes, it's a little delay. So that's why I'm kind of like jumping to other different sources. But in all honesty, the inner city press is really good. But, again, they got to type this stuff and they're doing a really good job. I think what I'm going to do, y'all, is probably get their, they have an audio of it. And I think I may just go ahead and get that so we can kind of listen to it. Kay says, I'll tell you one thing. Testifying is not like not like on TV. I had to testify once and they tore my ass up. They had to keep stopping and leave me restate things. Yeah, I would imagine. And then in all honesty, Kay, you could be honestly telling the truth, but just don't want to be up there in front of everybody, and it could look like you're lying. So I would not say that it is not difficult. And then with these attorneys, baby, you make one mistake, they're gonna make you to be a liar. But yeah, I could imagine. So let's pop on over to the other source and see what they talking about. So while we're waiting for them to update, y'all, we're gonna jump over to our next one because they got some stuff over here that we're gonna talk about here. Okay, so let's get into this real quick. Okay, so the Washington Post, like I said, the Washington Post is good, child. They a little late, but they kind of show more. Okay. All right, let me share my screen. Oh, y'all can see it. Okay, good. All right, y'all can see it. Okay, so let's get into the Washington Post. Okay, so we read that one. Okay, so James described in detail Tuesday morning how he would prep the hotel rooms that the Combs stayed in. There were personal items, fresh underwear, socks, slides, and iPads, along with various snacks, including applesauce, Jello, Fuji water. There were toiletry. There was a toiletry bag stocked with 40 different cosmetic products, which James would set up on the bathroom counter for Combs. There was also, he said, a medicine bag stocked with 35 to 40 different pill bottles. Lord have mercy. 35 to 40 different pill bottles. Where are we here? I done lost my, oh my gosh. Okay. Different pill bottles, some unmarked. He recalls seeing Advil, Tylenol, water pills to lose weight, Viagra, and meds to increase his sperm count. What? This sounds like some sick ritual. What the hell? To increase his sperm count, as well as Percocet and ecstasy. There was also a personal Louis Vuitton bag that James said Combs' security would carry, depending on the date. James said it sometimes held $10,000 or more in cash. Pictures of the bag were shown to the jury last week. It was seized by Homeland Security when agents raided Combs' hotel in New York in September after he was arrested. Now that's the truth. Now we know that that is the truth, because if y'all remember, before Diddy got arrested, y'all remember he was actually in New York. Okay, so he was in New York, and y'all remember when they arrested him, they said he had that bag with $10,000. So we know that this is, because it's kind of adding up. So I don't know what it's always $10,000, but that's exactly what they said he had when he raided them. Oh my gosh. Sean Combs would have hotel rooms stocked with 40 kinds of skincare products, a Jordan brand sweatsuit, applesauce, along with assortment of different baby oil. David James, describing the prep he would do for Sean Combs' hotel rooms, said he was reimbursed by Bad Boy for expenses such as medicine and snacks, but for certain supplies, the former personal assistant said, such as baby oil, Astroglide, and condoms, he was told to be reimbursed by Combs security staff, who would pay him in cash out of the Louis Vuitton bag. Okay, so this makes sense. So they kept the cash in the Louis Vuitton bag for all, different kinds of incidentals, or, different things that they were paying in cash. Okay, this is crazy. Now, Sean Combs had 3 pow pows on his lap when he ordered members of his entourage to go to Mills Diners in Los Angeles early one morning to confront rival record mogul Suge Knight. Former assistant. Wait a minute, y'all. Former assistant David James testified Tuesday. Combs demanded that James drive to the restaurant around 4 a.m. and circle back. He circled a block after they failed to spot Knight's Cadillac Escalade in the parking lot. The witnesses said, I remember thinking there's 3 pow pows and 3 people in the car, James testified. All right, so we can jump back over to our next source, because we know the Washington Post is slow. So we're going to jump back over to our next one. All right, so we got to keep jumping. So this is the only way to kind of get the news. We got to literally jump and hop from one to the other. That's kind of how it is, because like I said, inner city press is good. It's just like sometimes it's kind of hard to make out because they're not really typing everything. I mean, they're giving us something, but I mean, they can't type all that stuff. All right. So now we back on to inner city press. We know that this guy is still on the stand. Now, if y'all in here, please share the video. I don't really go live. I never go live. So as you see, there's not a bunch of people in here, but I would appreciate if y'all can like the video and go ahead and share it. I really appreciate that. Okay. So where we left off is here where James was being cross-examined, and Agnifilo was asking him, how did he recognize Suge Knight? So what James said is pretty much he recognized Suge Knight because he listened to hip hop. Pretty much that's what he said. I listened to, this type of music. So I knew who he was when I saw him. So that's pretty much what he said. Agnifilo talked about, asked him what was a dab. And then James said it was a handshake. So we getting right back into that. Okay. And then Agnifilo was asking him, did he leave D-Rock at the diner? And then he made a comment like, hey, that don't make sense. And he like, answer the question. So we left off there. And then he, asked if he saw, if Cassie was there, and he said yes. So let's get into where we left off. Okay. So Agnifilo. This is a radical departure from your job description. Okay. So now Agnifilo is getting into his job description. So he's saying this is a radical departure from your job description. Is that an understatement? Because I mean, we all get job descriptions. So Agnifilo was like, What was your job description? Is what were you hired to do? James said, it's the understatement of the day so far. So James is like, yeah, that wasn't in my job description. So Ignifilo is asking a very good question, y'all. And I just want to point out, I think the defense is doing an amazing job, being that their client is in a whole bunch of hot water. So Ignifilo is like, did you get immunity? Because guess what? If y'all paid attention to James' testimony, he incriminated himself. I mean, you're picking up prescriptions with your name on it, all of these, drugs with other people's name on it. So Ignifilo is like, boy, man, do you have immunity? Like what? I mean, can you, yeah, I mean, if y'all are aware what immunity is, it's like a person can testify and even incriminate themselves and not be prosecuted. And if y'all is paying attention, he really incriminating himself. Because I'm like, oh, James, what the hell were you doing? Like, you were doing a lot of stuff that you could probably be charged. So Ignifilo is like, do you have immunity? He said, ask my lawyer. I have some kind of offer agreement. So that answers the question. So now we know that James is testifying and he can pretty much say what he wants because he is giving immunity. Somebody said, is this today's case? We're doing today's case. Are you not following what's on the screen? Do you not see it? It says 4 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. So no, we're doing today's. We wouldn't be doing yesterday's, ma'am. Okay, so Ignifilo asked him, was he given immunity? Basically, immunity is he can pretty much say what he wants. So James did not say, yes, I was given immunity. He said, I got some kind of agreement. Ask my lawyer. So yeah, he was given immunity, which can kind of, make people feel like, oh, okay, that's why you're here. So he was offered some type of agreement, which is generally those agreements say, if you testify and you incriminate yourself, we can't use that against you. It's pretty much what it means. So Ignifilo says, you knew how to get to Mel's Diner, right? He said, I frequent there all the time. So he is familiar with Mel's Diner. Now, for some of the people that just joined, the reason why we're talking about Mel's Diner is because in Cassie's original lawsuit, one of the events that she described is Puffy going to Mel's Diner to, with a pow because he about to take down Suge Knight. So this is pretty much what they're talking about. They're talking about that event. And, when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, why does this make sense? It makes sense because the picture that the prosecution is painting is this dude is dangerous. Not only is he dangerous, they're saying he runs or was running a corrupt organization, which would imply the RICO, because he uses his employees to carry out these crazy things. Now, keep in mind, James being given immunity is now testifying that he was actually one of those, okay? Now, Ignifilo is saying, you've never seen pows or guns before, right? James said no. So James ain't never saw a gun before, y'all. Oops, I said the word. All right. So like I said, for anybody that's joining, no, we are not doing yesterday's. We are doing today. I couldn't do yesterday's if I wanted to. It's just too much to cover. And I'm only really doing this because people ask me. So I'm just, trying to, do what I was asked. Okay. So Ignifilo, did the Mel's Diner incident, wait a minute, let me go back. Some of these, let me jump over y'all, because like I said, I like inner city press, child, but it'd be a struggle trying to understand what the hell they be saying. So let me see what's happening on my next source. Okay, let's jump over to this one. Let's skip over to the next one, please. Like I said, inner city press is good, but baby, the struggle be real trying to understand what they be saying. All right, so let's go back over to the next source here, and we're just gonna go to the top one because we done read all those right there. Now, again, we're describing the situation, what happened at the diner. Again, they're trying to paint. Well, I'm not going to say they trying to paint because from what I see, Sean got some problems. The dude is violent. Now, I think they proven that. Now, before the trip to the diner, Sean Combs' girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was crying and begging him not to leave his Los Angeles home. Ventura previously told the jury that she was scared of what Combs would do and begged him not to go. David James drove Combs' Lincoln Navigator to the diner. He said he recalled having a weird sense of calm on the ride with Combs and a security guard in the vehicle. The former employee's testimony may help to support the prosecution's theory that Combs had an army of enforcers who enabled his violent, illegal conduct. And that's what I was trying to say. Because originally, y'all, I was like, okay, James, what are we talking about? So the reason that James is testifying is simply because James was an employee of Sean Diddy Combs. So what James is testifying to is he actually did illegal things too. But because he was given immunity, like he can testify and say whatever he did, and he does not have to worry about being prosecuted because he was given immunity. So that's pretty much what's going on. But the reason why they are using him is strictly to paint the picture that Combs is actually dangerous. Y'all, give me a moment. I got to run and get some tissue. Give me like 2 seconds. My house is freezing. We need to turn the air off. Give me a second. I need to get some tissue. Okay, y'all, I had to put my sweater on. It is freezing in here. I mean, I get it. It's super hot outside, so we can't turn the air off, but I'm freezing. My nose is running. So pretty much, y'all, what they're trying to do is, it look like they're doing it. So they want to establish this RICO. If y'all recall, he got the trafficking case and he got the RICO, right? So what they're establishing here is he had employees that work for him that pretty much carry out all of his criminal stuff, and he pretty much just sat around and allowed them to do all of his dirty work. It's pretty much what they are saying. All right, so we're gonna jump back into inner city press. So give me a second. Man, it's cold in here. I don't know where y'all live at, but it's so damn hot outside. I went to get some coffee this morning. It was already 80 degrees. I need to go over to the pool or something. It's probably what I'm gonna have to do, child, because whoo. All right, so now if y'all got some ideas, y'all let me know. Put them in the chat. Like I said, I don't normally, where my damn mouse at? I don't normally do these, but like I said, they want it, they asked me. So I'm like, okay, we can talk about it. Okay, let me see if I want to. All right, y'all, we got another one that we want to get into before we go over to inner city press. Like I said, this other one that I'm reading from is the Washington Post. I really like what they do. It's kind of longer, unlike inner city press, which we appreciate inner city press, but honey, it'd be a struggle to read it. Okay, so let's get into this one. This one just came out, I don't know how many minutes ago. This is 4 minutes ago. Okay, so let's read this. Before talking about Sean Combs' hotel rooms, former personal assistant David James described a night in 2009 when Combs entered his Los Angeles home in a rage over a blog post on a gossip site. James said he had the day off, James said he had the day off, but was at Combs' estate working on a research project for his boss, looking up possible tattoos online for Combs. What? Why is it his job to look up your tattoos or what tattoos you need to get? Y'all, that is just crazy. Okay. James recalled that Combs arrived home in the early morning hours after a night clubbing. He was upset over a blog post. Combs beeline straight toward James and looked up the assistant's search history on the computer James had been working on. Combs wanted to see whether James may have written the blog post. What? A few days later, James was given an assignment to deliver a meal from Roscoe's. They make delicious fried chicken, James elaborated, to Cassie Ventura at the London hotel. Ventura had been there about a week. James said when he arrived at the hotel, he said he was surprised to see one of Combs' staff answer the door. I was expecting to see Cassie, he said, in previous times. The event James outlined recalls Ventura's testimony from last week, in which she described Combs brutally assaulting her in a car. She had visible injuries, Ventura said, and Combs allegedly told her to decamp to the London hotel to recover. Now, let's just kind of go back, so y'all can remember, refresh what we're talking about. So in Cassie's lawsuit, okay, one of the things she did say is that he would beat her. And guess what? Now, I believe he did that. Like, I don't have no doubt in my mind that this man didn't beat her. Now, I'm just going to say what I believe. Now, I really believe that because multiple people have said that. I believe it. Because he's been violent to a lot of people. A lot of people have said that. But one of the things Cassie said is when she was assaulted, if she had visible injuries, what she said he would do is, put her away or have her go to a hotel to actually recover, is pretty much what she said. And I believe it. So what he is doing is actually recounting what he saw. So he's like, yep, I saw it. She was definitely beat up. So again, this is kind of establishing again the RICO, because what James testified is Cassie was at the hotel. She was, she had been beat. Not only had Cassie been beat, Combs' staff was there. So why does his staff play any part in this? Because if Cassie is in a hotel, why would his staff be there? Because again, in this case, what they're trying to establish is RICO. So it seems like if his staff is there, are they trying to prevent her from leaving? It kind of seems like that, because if she needed somebody to care for her, wouldn't that be like her mama? Or, if she needed to be in the hospital, why isn't she in the hospital? So it kind of looks like he's trying to keep her somewhere that she might not ordinarily want to be. So it looks like what they're establishing here is the RICO part, because his staff was there. Like, why would his staff need to be there? So James is saying what he did was simply deliver the food. And in delivering the food, he noticed that Cassie was there and she had been beat, which is, again, it is kind of like proving that RICO part of this case. Keep in mind, he got a few charges, and they're pretty much trying to prove them all. Okay, so let's get into this next one, y'all. Can y'all see my screen? Wait a minute. Let me share it again. Okay. Okay, so y'all can see that. So if y'all can see, this is updated 4 minutes ago. This is all, this is today's. Now the defense is suggesting that the Suge Knight incident didn't happen, at least not the way Sean Combs' former assistant David James said it did. So the defense, obviously, those are Puffy's lawyers. They're suggesting, like, okay, it happened, but it's not happening the way you said. Now, if y'all recall, Ignifilo said, okay, you testified to this today, but you do recall that when you testified before, this is what you said. So it seems like what, Ignifilo is implying is that, you said it happened this way, but now you're saying it happened this way. So this is what the defense is saying. Now, defense lawyer Mark Ignifilo asked James if he objected to going with Combs to look for Knight while Combs was allegedly holding 3 pow pows. You didn't say a thing, Ignifilo asked James. Respectfully, sir, you have someone with 3 pow pows that close proximity. I didn't think I had the option to say something. That's bad, because what the assistant is saying, I didn't say no, but I didn't think I could say no. I mean, this girl got 3 pow pows. I ain't finna say no, which goes to what Cassie is saying, because people say, why she stayed? Like, why didn't she leave? Cassie says that she didn't leave because she was scared. Now, that can be argued because, depending on what the circumstances is, if it was a violent situation today, tomorrow it could have died down. So, why didn't you leave yesterday? So what he's doing is pretty much saying, no, I didn't leave. I didn't say no, because I mean, this dude got 3, he got 3 guns. Okay. And he said he was in close proximity. So what he's saying is, no, I didn't. I was afraid. So he said, I didn't think I had the option to say something. James said he agreed with Ignifilo that the incident was a radical departure from normal events during his time employed by Combs. So what this guy is saying is, yeah, this incident happened, but this wasn't the normal day-to-day. Like, this is just something that happened. Is pretty much what he's saying. So maybe this was not the ordinary procedure of what would normally happen, but this happened this time, is pretty much what this guy is saying. Let's see what else they said. Okay, so we can jump back over to our next source, y'all. So give me a second. Let me jump over and refresh this. All right, y'all. We got some news. Okay, y'all, we got some more from Inner City Press. They are getting into it here, honey. All right, so let's go back. So we got a filing. The filing transaction. Let's click on it. Can y'all see that? Okay. Notice of electronic filing. The following transaction was entered by Bach Jonathan on 5/20 today and filed today. Now, this is USA versus Combs. Notice of attorney's appearing for Sean Combs. Okay, so this is just something that was filed. We can go back to this. Actually, I'm going to write the case number now, because I'm going to go into my, well, I could just do it later, because I can go into my account and pull some of those documents. Okay, so let's get into it. So what this is, y'all, so this is just informing the court that, another attorney is appearing for, this just is an attorney making a filing that he's gonna, be part of the team. That's all it is. All right, so let's all right, let's get in. I don't want to get into it like that. Okay, so Ignifilo is still questioning David James, right? All right. No, okay. So let's go back to what our last one was, y'all, because this kind of can be a little bit confusing. Okay, so we talked about the. Oh boy, wait a minute, y'all. Let's refresh this because they've been doing some. I got to refresh it. Looks like we got to go all the way down. Okay, so the last one that I read, they were talking about, the male diner incident. And he asked, did he frequent the the male's diner? So we're talking now back on to James' testimony. Now, what I do is I go from one to the other because although Inner City Press does give us some information, a lot of times is missing and it's kind of hard to read. But this is kind of the only thing we have for the live. But then what I'll do is I'll jump over to my other source, which is the Washington Post, which really gives us the full context, why Inner City Press don't really give us the full, it just kind of gives us a shorthand synopsis. So, and what I last talked about when Agnifilo was cross-examining James, what he said was, what you were doing, what you testify to what you were doing is a little bit different than, pretty much what your job description was. And he said, yeah, absolutely. So then he talked about, Mel's Diner. Like, how did you know where Mel's Diner was? He said, listen, I frequent the Mel's Diner all the time. So James knew where Mel's Diner was because, he pretty much go there. Okay. Now, we're going to get into why he left. He talked about, wait a minute, I'm dying to ask what the, okay, he talked about leaving and wait a minute, y'all, I'm going out. He talked about leaving that, the job and all of that. And now we're going to get into this. He said, Agnifilo, you didn't tell anyone about this. And then James said, well, I only told my wife. Now, what Agnifilo is when he said you didn't tell anybody about this, he's talking about the incident. Like, he's testifying that, Sean had the 3 pow-pows and it was going to be this big thing with Suge Knight. And Agnifilo was like, well, who did you tell? He said, only my wife. He said, did you meet with the government this morning? Now, y'all, this is a good one. This is a good one because let me tell y'all why this is good cross-examination. Because what Agnifilo is trying to get at is did the government meet with this man prior to his testimony to make sure he said specific things? Now, I know this is where this is going, but let's get back into it. So Agnifilo is like, did you meet with the government this morning? He said, yes, briefly about what might come up in cross. So I'm just saying he met with them right before his testimony, right? So Agnifilo is like, did you meet with the government this morning? So, and I think that's kind of important because if y'all were following what Agnifilo was saying, he was like, your testimony is different. This is not what you said before, right? So he like, did you meet with the government this morning? He like, yeah, briefly about what would be discussed. So that, that could be potentially a problem. And then Agnifilo said it was important that he be prepared for for the meeting, right? So Agnifilo is saying, you met with the government this morning. What was your conversation? Your conversation was so that you can be prepared to testify. Not only be prepared, dude, what is you going to say? What exactly are you going to testify to? So that this is what Agnifilo is saying. And James says, yes, it was important for you to be on time, right? And James said, no, we changed meetings to fit his schedule. So he said they changed it to fit his schedule all the time when he didn't want to show up at a certain time. So, okay, whatever. Agnifilo says, he asked James, so James, where were you hired as? And James said, a personal liaison. But I was a personal assistant. What the hell is a personal liaison? Agnifilo said he met a high-level roster of people. And James said, second understatement of the day. So he's saying understatement of the day because he's like, look, I did way more. So Agnifilo is like, why? So James is saying he met with the who's who's. Okay, I guess if you met the former president, like you said. So Agnifilo says he had security because people wanted to touch him, right? This is what Agnifilo is saying. Yes, in the airport and McDonald's. Agnifilo, was he gracious? I don't think gracious is a word. I don't think gracious is a word I'd use for Sean Combs. He said, did he sign autographs? He said, no. Wait a minute, y'all. Let me reread that. What does he mean? He said, I don't think so. He said, I don't think gracious is a word. Okay, so he's saying that Sean is not a gracious person. I mean, I don't think that he's nice based on what everybody else is saying. So what this Sean guy is saying, listen, Sean Combs don't sign no damn autographs. He ain't gracious. He ain't nice. But I mean, people have said that. I believe it. I believe that he is who the hell he is. And I don't recall anybody ever saying anything too nice about him, to be honest. All right, let's see here. What are we saying? Okay, so let's get back into this. We're going to flop back over, y'all, to the Washington Post. Again, like we're reviewing the testimony, but a lot of the testimony is kind of cut off. So what I'll do is we'll read the inner city press, but then we're just going to jump back over, to the Washington Post, because what the Washington Post does, it kind of gives us more of the entire thing, like I kind of said before, but let's kind of get into it, y'all. And make sure y'all liking the video, please. And make sure you're sharing. I know we got a small group in here, but that's simply just because I don't, really do lives that much, but I'm going to get into it. Okay. So let's get into it. So a former assistant alleged setting up baby oil drugs in a separate lawsuit. Testimony from David James, a former personal assistant to Sean Combs, calls to mind similar allegations mentioned in a sexual battery lawsuit from Philip Pines, who says he worked as Combs' assistant from December 19th to December 2021. So what they're doing is they're saying, hey, what James is testifying to is similar to what the former, wait a minute. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so Philip Pines is somebody who also filed a lawsuit. So they saying what James is testifying to is similar to what has already been said in a lawsuit. So this guy Pines, who I guess he filed a lawsuit against Combs. Pines alleged that in 2024. Pines alleged in his December 2024 lawsuit, because we know Combs was in jail in 2024, lawsuit in California, that as a part of his job, he was instructed to set up red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, marijuana joints, honey packs for male libido, baby oil, astroglide, towels, illegal drugs, and power banger sex machines, either in Combs' personal bedroom or in his hotel rooms for drug and alcohol-fueled sex parties called Wild King Nights. Now, if y'all remember, they've been saying that this is called the freak off. Hey, Danielle, it's been called the freak off, but then they also said that it was called Wild King Nights, child. So, it's the Wild King Nights / freak offs. So he occasionally was asked to bring extra supplies to the room while the event was happening. Pines alleged in his complaint after the party was over, he had to clean up, packing up the supplies and removing the drugs, the condoms, and bodily stains that were left behind. He alleged Combs has denied all SA allegations against him. Y'all, so these lawsuits is growing out of the wazoo. So what they're saying is they're just comparing what James testified to and kind of lining it up with what his assistant is saying right now. So we're going to jump back over to obviously to Inner City Press and see what's going on. Ooh. Okay, y'all, we got some. All right, y'all, we got some. All right, so let's kind of briefly get into this one right here. So depending on when y'all joined, okay, I don't know when you guys joined or how long. It seemed like I've been having the same amount of people in here, but so what I said earlier is Inner City Press have filed a motion, basically to say, listen, y'all, in this case, the judge, the attorneys of this case, y'all are filing documents and we don't see the documents. Like, y'all not letting us see the documents. Now, this was actually filed on May 15th, 2025. Now, let's get into it. So what the Inner City Press did is they filed a document basically asking the judge to, hey, can we see all of these motions and things that you're filing? If these are things that the public cannot see, all you need to do is redact it so that this information is not made available to the public. But as we are, allowed to watch this case, you can go into the courtroom as long as you get there early. They obviously have a capacity. What they're saying is, hey, y'all are ruling on different stuff. Stuff is happening behind closed doors. Y'all sending emails. Y'all doing all of this stuff, and we ain't able to see it. So we don't get into that. So let's get into it. We're gonna kind of go back. Let's just read it. Press application to docket and unseal the government's and defense communication to chambers on evidentiary and other issues in the USA versus Sean Combs. Dear Judge Subterranean, Inner City Press has been covering the above captioned case like many others since its indictment. This morning, before the jury came in, both the government and the defense referred to multiple communications to the court about evidentiary and other issues, but these are not in the public docket on Pacer. So what I said earlier is all of these documents, including this case, you can go and look it up on Pacer. But what's happening is they're not docketing all of the emails. They're not docketing all of the exchanges. So therefore, if you go to Pacer, you can see the case, but you don't see all the corresponding documents. So what Inner City Press asks the court to do is, can you please put those documents in the file? I'll give you an example. Fulton County, I sent in a request to be able to record a court hearing. What they did with my request is they responded to me. They said, we allow you to come in and record. But what they did was they took my request and they added it to the file in the docket. This is simply an application to do the same with this case. This application letter motion argues that many, if not all of these, are judicial documents to which the public and press have a right to access. So Inner City Press is saying, listen, whatever y'all doing with all these communications and these emails and these filings, we can't see it. We need to see that. They're saying these documents should be put in the docket now and going forward in this trial. Because listen, if we follow in the trial, can we see all of these documents? But they're saying we can't see it because y'all are not putting them in the file. That's pretty much all they're saying, okay? Now, what they start to argue, which I'll see at the bottom, is they're listing other cases in which, maybe it was a similar situation, but they're saying, hey, let me give you this case as a case that you can, look at going forward. And if you can please add those documents. Okay, so this is what the judge responded. The court is in receipt of a letter from the press requesting that email communications from the parties regarding evidentiary and other issues should be docketed by May 27th, 2025. The parties should docket any correspondence to and from the court concerning evidentiary objections or applications for relief to the extent they have not been docketed. The party making the application is responsible for docketing the correspondence. Moving forward, the party should docket any email correspondence by the end of the week following the application or objection. So basically, what that means is anything that happens this week, we'll get next week, because they'll, they have to docket it. But the only thing with that too, guys, what we're learning in the trial is, because they have 7 days in, and even with the jury situation, that's a lot of communication. So the only issue here is, what are they actually going to put in the case? Because they would have a lot of emails, a lot of communication to actually go back and do. So I'm not sure how the judge is going to make sure that that's been done. But what he's saying is, moving forward, we're going to start putting everything in, but it's going to be kind of like a week delay, because what they'll do at the end of the week is they will update that week's information, like on Friday, is what pretty much they're saying. And I kind of spoke about that, in the beginning. So we have James. He's still on the stand. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, whatever y'all want to call him, Brother Love. His attorney is still his attorney is still cross-examining this guy. Okay. Now, Ignifilo, what sorts of things would he want to always have with him? Y'all see what I'm saying? With inner city press is good, but you really got to figure this out. He says ketchup, for example. Okay, let me go up. Ignifilo, you said he stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. and you stay with him. James says, yes, it was common. He says, what sort of things would he want to always have with him? And James said, ketchup, for example. Huh? All right, we just gonna keep going. So Ignifilo said, did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? Are y'all, what? Y'all, what is really going on here? Okay, let's read it again. Ignifilo, did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? James said, no, but I knew he likes applesauce. Ignifilo, he liked Astroglide condoms and baby oil, but you didn't expense it through the business. And he said, usually not. Who in the hell put applesauce on their cheeseburgers? I don't know, y'all. I'm just reading what they said. I guess applesauce on the cheeseburgers. All right, so we're still, can y'all see? Okay, because y'all can see it. Okay, as you can see, this is 55 seconds ago. So he says, James says, I was told he didn't want to run them through the company. So remember, we're talking about Astroglide condoms and baby oil. He said, but you didn't expense it through the business. And James said, I was told he didn't want to run them through the company. And then he says he didn't want a record of them. So Ignifilo says, when you bought the 8-ball of Coke on St. Tropez, pronounced Sandropez, you didn't tell Mr. Combs, did you? And then James said he was asleep. Now, that's going to be very interesting testimony, because he bought an 8-ball of Coke, but what, his attorney is saying, you didn't tell him, did you? So that's going to be interesting to find out. Let's kind of refresh this, y'all, because I'm really interested to know why he didn't tell him about the Coke. These people, ooh, what is really going on? All right, so we're waiting for them to update that. While we're waiting, y'all know the spiel. We're going to jump on over to our other source and see what they got for us. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's get into the Washington Post. For anybody that's just joined, here's what I'm doing here. I read the what is it called? I read the inner city press strictly because they are in the court and they're kind of updating it as the testimony comes forward. But the thing with inner city press, they do give you kind of a format of what's happening, but it's really shorthand. So sometimes it's really hard to read. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into our next source because they kind of say it word for word, which is obviously really easy to read and understand. Okay, so what they're saying is the defense counsel, Mark Agnifilo, was fairly aggressive as he cross-examined Sean Combs' former assistant, David James, about his account of an incident involving Combs' rival Suge Knight. Agnifilo's demeanor with James was markedly different from his demeanor of Kerry Morgan on Monday, when he periodically apologized for asking her questions. And, so I think too, if y'all were paying attention to the defense strategy, as y'all saw with Cassie, they had a woman kind of ask Cassie questions. And, being that, she's expecting, they tried to be extra gentle. I mean, they still asked the question, but it wasn't aggressive. And I believe that tactic is because they don't want people to say, "Ooh, look how, they're treating a pregnant woman." Y'all know how people are. So I think the the demeanor and how they handle different people are going to be very different. So I think that's understandable. So it says the defense clearly did not want the jury to hear James' testimony, James' story, and we knew that because they were trying to get him not to testify. Earlier Tuesday morning, which we're talking about today, before the jurors entered the courtroom, Agnifilo fought to have the testimony barred on the grounds that it was not relevant. And remember, if you guys have been here for, since we've been on 2 hours. What happened at the start of the day is Agnifilo was pretty much trying to get James to not testify because what he's saying is, listen, we don't need to hear about Suge Knight and what happened with Suge Knight, yada, yada, because it's really not relevant to what we're talking about today. But essentially what the prosecution wanted to do is use James to testify because by James being an employee, it does kind of establish their RICO case, strictly because of how James is testifying right now, right? So Mark Agnifilo argued to kind of get his testimony barred on the grounds that it was completely irrelevant. The government persuaded the judge to keep the testimony. So, Agnifilo lost, however, arguing that James' story supported their racketeering charge. And that's exactly what I said. I said that the reason why they wanted James to testify is because James was an employee of Sean Diddy Combs. So what James is doing is he's helping them establish the RICO case. You work for him. You did all of these things that you shouldn't have done. But then James is like, yeah, I did it because, I was scared. So it kind of helped them to kind of establish, that case that, hey, this dude was, he was, we were afraid of him. So not real good for the defense here. All right, so let's go back. So we still got James on the stage. On the all right, so let's get back into Inner City Press. All right, so we got some more updates with Inner City Press. I just got to refresh it, y'all. Okay. So where we left off, we talked about they said Diddy liked to put applesauce on his cheeseburgers, and Agnifilo was like, well, did you know he put applesauce on his cheeseburgers? And then James is like, no, I knew he liked applesauce. And then Agnifilo said he liked Astroglide, condoms and baby oil. And he asked him, why didn't you expense that through the business? And he said, because, he didn't want that to run through his company. He didn't want there to be a record of, these sorts of expenses. And he said, well, you bought an 8-ball of Coke and, you didn't tell him about that. And he says, well, why you didn't tell him? He said, because, he was asleep. This is what he's saying. So now, y'all, we finna get into trying to understand what the hell. Let me see if I can refresh it, because again, that's the only thing about the inner city press. Okay, y'all. Ooh, look at this. Okay, I don't want to read that. Okay, let's just go into theirs. People just replying. All right. All right, good. Okay. So let's try to dissect what the hell inner city press is saying. So he said, we're missing some context here. And once I read this, we just gonna jump over to the other one to see what they're actually saying, because something don't make sense. It says he was asleep. Okay, he was asleep. But then the next tweet, Agnifilo says, was it fun? He said, I enjoyed it from time to time. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? Professional. Agnifilo, did you choke her? No. Objection, sidebar. So I feel like we missing something, but again, this is kind of how they do it. They probably missed something, and that's why we kind of like not understanding the dialogue. So Combs, which is Agnifilo's, Agnifilo, who is Combs' attorney. He says, tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. We talked about Bad Boy as a family. What do you mean? So this is James. Mama Combs called her son many times. What? It says, what was the mission? Make sure you're happy. So we gonna let's kind of divert for a second, because like I said, with inner city press is they're live tweeting, but baby, they be missing stuff. So I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Okay, so let's jump back over to our other source, because again, we can kind of understand this one a little bit better. All right, y'all, let's jump back over to our other source, because inner city press, I don't know what the hell they talking about right now. They missing stuff. Okay. More details emerge of what it's like to be Combs' personal assistant. Other notable moments from the defense ongoing cross-examination of Sean Combs' former personal assistant, David James. James said he was prepped by prosecutors. So this is why I like the Washington Post, because, I mean, look at this. We can very easily read this. Again, inner city press, they're in the courtroom. They trying to like get everything, which is very hard to get, right? So we're going to get into, he said that he was prepped by prosecutors Tuesday morning for defense attorney Mark Agnifilo's questioning. This is normal. So it is normal. Agnifilo, who appeared not to expect that detail, responded, fair enough. Then how did I do? Consistent, James deadpan. So basically what they're saying is Agnifilo was trying to basically make James look like he may have gotten information from the prosecution as far as to how he would testify on the stand today. But generally, they do prep their witnesses. So that's not like something that is, something that they wouldn't do. Now, the government witness, which is James, also gave more detail about how Combs ran his companies, saying he was involved with everything. James also said he once worked 21 days straight, crediting his work ethnic to being raised in Flint, Michigan. Another assistant, he said, once went to the hospital for dehydration after working a 24-hour shift. Oh my goodness. James said that Combs' security detail used to have a saying. Do you know what rhymes with tired, fired. Wait a minute. Let me reread that. James said that Comb security detail used to have a saying. Do you know what rhymes with tired? The answer is fired. So, I mean, you can't be normal. You can't be tired because tired means you fire. Oh my goodness. James said that Comb security. Oh, I read that. The applesauce on Combs hotel riders, by the way, we now know, thanks to Agnifilo, that Combs like applesauce on his cheeseburger. So, like I said originally, y'all, I'm just reading y'all the inner city press, but sometimes it's really hard to, to make out because, child, they can't really, tweet all of that in such a short period of time. So we're getting a little bit of it, but then I can always jump, to the Washington Post to see exactly what the breakdown is. What y'all saying in the chat? All right. So let's jump on over, y'all, to our other one, which is, like I said, the inner city press, and see what they're saying. All right, let me get into it. All right, so we got some more from inner city press, y'all. All right, so inner city press, let's go down. Okay, so we talked about tell me about your relationship. So the last thing we talked about is he asked him, tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. He said we talked about Bad Boy as a family. What do you mean? Yada yada. So that's pretty much where we left off. So again, it looks like inner city press look like they missed something, but we just gonna read it from what we see because I don't know what they missed. So Agnifilo, tell me what happened. We were on Star Island. She told me where to take him. I grabbed her 2 wrists and said, "Stay in your effing lane." Was there a fallout? James, it was reported to corporate headquarters. Mr. Combs called me. So it looks like, from what I'm gathering, is that James got into some situation and they kind of reference it down here. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? Professional. He said, Agnifilo said, did you choke her? He said no. And then AUSA says objection. And then the judge. So they having a sidebar conversation. So it seems like, from what I'm seeing, the reason why we're missing context is because they had a sidebar. Now, if y'all recall what that is, it's like everybody go up there and talk to the judge. We don't know what they're talking about. So it kind of makes sense why this is spliced like this, because I'm like, what are they talking about? So what it appears has happened is the witness that is on the stand, which is Sean's previous assistant, David James, he had some issue with Chef Jordan, and allegedly he may have choked her, put his hands on her. We gonna get into it. That's what we're talking about. So it seems what David is saying, that they were on Star Island, and she told me where to take him. I grabbed her wrist and said, "Stay in your effing lane." So he grabbing on the lady to my some. Okay. So David James, Mr. Combs told me you can't be putting your hands on women. I told y'all, I predicted that. So James put his hands on one of the employees, grabbed her wrist and said, "Stay in your effing lane." James was reported for this incident. He said he talked to Combs that told him you shouldn't be putting your hands on women. And Combs should have took his own advice. Okay. And then he said Combs told him, "Give her a gift." Okay. And Nifilo is saying, "What did you give her?" James said, "I rolled up a blunt and gave it to her." And then Agnifilo asked James, "Did she like it?" It appeared she did. So it looks like this witness got into it with another employee. Now, my prediction, y'all, I don't know if this is true. I'm just going to tell y'all. Now, he said he left What if he actually got fired? We don't know. Let's keep it going. Agnifilo, you were in a car with Mr. Combs and who? He said Chris Lightly. Agnifilo, you had been taking ecstasy. He said, I'd party, sure. So yes, he said he had been taking ecstasy. Agnifilo, what were things like in the studio? Like, drugs. He said it was a creative environment. So, I mean, we know that this guy was kind of taking some drugs or whatever. Now, judge overruled. So, it looks like, the prosecution may have tried to not let that come in. David James says she asked, so I'm sorry, this is James, which is still Diddy's ex-assistant. He said she asked for $200. I called mines and asked, what the hell? She asked to take a shower. I said, that's $200. Laughter. Combs Agnifilo. On that note, no further questions. So it looks like this witness is going to be off the stand. What time is it? So they're probably going to go to lunch soon. Now, David James, he said, if you're man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me. I said, okay, I'm smoking. He said, if I did it again, he'd fire me. And y'all see, this is what I'm saying. What the defense is trying to do is kind of cast some doubt around this particular witness because he said he quit, but it looks like there were some things going on. Now, Agnifilo said, how about when you picked up two prostitutes and had sex with one? Objection 403. So it looks like there was some other stuff going on. Let's see. And judge says redirect. AUSA. What about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? So it looks like AUSA is now closing because usually what happens is the prosecution starts off, the defense jumps in and with their questioning, but then they get to do the redirect. So that's what's happening. So AUSA is saying, well, what about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? And then David is saying, David James, he said to file a police report and say that Chef Jordan had been the aggressor. So keep in mind, guys, and I'm just following this and kind of like analyzing this in my brain. It seems like James had an issue with an employee, a female employee, in which he grabbed her wrist, right? And what he said was Sean Combs, P. Diddy, told him, man, don't be putting your hands on women, which is crazy considering he put his hands on women. But it seems like he said, listen, give her a gift. Let's smooth it over. Let's kind of fix it. That is what we're learning. But it looks like David James had to file a police report with regards to this Chef Jordan. And I guess she had been the aggressor in some situation in Alpine, New Jersey. Right? But he said he didn't file a police report. I drove around and told him I'd make the report. So he didn't really make it. So it appeared, well, it doesn't appear. Based on his testimony, he had something going on with this particular employee. Okay, so let's kind of jump back in. What have we asked you to do? Okay, so AUSA. Okay, guys, this is great because again, they're doing the redirect. The prosecution gets to redirect. Remember, they get to come back and ask the final questions because they have the burden to prove this case, right? So what they're saying, what have we asked you to do? If you guys remember, Agnifilo was like, did you talk to the state? What y'all was talking about? Like, what did they tell you to do? So AUSA, which is the prosecution, just said, what did we ask you to do? He said, tell the truth. AUSA is like, nothing further. So recross. So Agnifilo is coming back because he needs to ask questions. And Agnifilo said, "You lied to Mr. Combs about filing the police report." James says, "Yes." He says, "Nothing further can we break." Now, to me, that was a strong close, because what the prosecution has established is that James is a damn liar. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's lying about everything, but keep in mind, y'all, with the prosecution, with the defense, their only thing to do is put doubt in your mind. That is only thing that they need to do, because remember, with this case, they kind of prove it without a reasonable doubt. So when you say somebody is innocent, you say they're innocent because there is no way that they didn't do this. Let's say if you see somebody delete somebody in front of your eyes, you're watching them, there is no way that they didn't do it because you actually watched them. So what the prosecution what the defense has did, although it was really hard because this seems to be a very strong witness, what they have done with this witness is said that this dude lied, because he said, "You lied to Mr. Combs about filing a police report," because he was supposed to file a police report and do all of these things. But what James is saying, "Yeah, I did lie." So right now, y'all, they are on a break here. They're on a break. And let's see here. Yeah, so they are breaking. So what I'm gonna do is, if y'all want to come up for questions, because I think the break is an hour. Let me just kind of see if I want to go back, and what I'm going to do is let me go back and see, because they're on a break. I can go back now and look at. Okay, so let's go back and look at this. All right, so they haven't really updated it, y'all. Do anybody have any questions? Like, if you came late or you didn't see like the beginning, what questions do y'all have? Because they're on a break. So I'm gonna like go and refresh to see, if we missed anything. But right now they're gonna go on break. Let's see, y'all. Yep, so that's it for now, I believe. Well, I'm gonna wait until Inner City Press updated. And if you guys have not, make sure y'all share the video here. Just give me a second. All right, y'all. Anybody got any questions? If you're new, good morning. Did I hit that? Oh, that was it now. Okay. Yeah, I've been on here for 2 hours and 17 minutes. This is the longest I've ever did a live for. All right. Okay, so nothing has, been updated from what we already did, but y'all got to give me a second, because I'm gonna put in a little. Y'all got to give me a moment. I'll be back. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to run to the bathroom right quick, and then I'm going to come back, because we've been out here for a minute. So just give me a moment. Y'all, please go ahead and like the video and share the video. I will be right back, y'all.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
Okay, you guys, thank you for being patient. I had to get up. My legs was hurting being in that damn chair for so long. So, y'all, I found a website here. Now, remember the guy that was just testifying, which was Diddy's ex-assistant. Y'all, he got a whole YouTube, and we're gonna get into some of the things he on here doing, y'all. He's a little. Look at his let's get into his YouTube page. This is the longest live I've ever did. When I tell y'all my legs was hurting, so I had to get up out of that chair and do it. So I have a standing table, so I'm standing now. I just couldn't sit in that chair. My legs were starting to hurt. All right, so this is his Instagram. I'm sorry, not his Instagram. This is his YouTube channel. This guy. Let's see what he's doing.
I came a long way in my life. I got a lot to say.
Okay, we're not gonna be able to play that because of the music. So let me just let's stop doing that one. But let's see what else he got. Now, for those of you who I don't know how long y'all been in here, but this is his assistant, Diddy's assistant. This was the guy that was just on the stand. Now, if y'all just got in, they are taking a break. So they are breaking for lunch. So give me a second here. We're going to get back to his channel because he actually has a YouTube channel. So we're going to get into his channel in a second. All right, y'all, let's get into this guy's channel. What is he doing? This is David James. Let's get into his channel. How to make P. Diddy. This is really weird. Okay, let's go back to his channel here. This is David James. He has a YouTube. I only got 400 and why come I'm not able to click it? All right, y'all. Let's see what this guy is talking about. David James. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back out because it's just not clicking here. Go back into YouTube. How to make a Diddy, child. David James. All right, I'm just trying to bring his page back up. I don't know what happened. All right, let's get into. All right, let me share again, y'all. So this is this is guy's YouTube channel. Now, David James, this is the one that was just on the stand. So right now they are in, they have taken a break. So it's nothing going on with court, at least for the next hour. Well, we got about 45 minutes. So let's get into what he doing on his YouTube channel. Oh, listen, y'all, look. David James. Look, y'all, he married to a black girl. Gotta turn the music off. I mean, let's. So well, I thought, okay, well, yeah, he's married to a black lady. It says, what a magical moment. Look, now everybody is going to his page. Everybody is now going to this man's page, leaving weird comments, of course. It's just what they do. So it looks like he's married. Now, for those of you who may have just joined, we're just reviewing, just looking at stuff because at this point, the court is on a break, so nothing is really going on. Nothing is going on. They're on a break now. And what we're doing, we're just reviewing James's page. This is his Instagram, pretty much. I'm sorry, not Instagram. This is his YouTube. So he does have a YouTube channel. Apparently, he got married a few years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know when he got married, but this is just what he shows on his page. So let's see what else he got on here. Wait a minute, y'all. Let me go back. So it looks like he works for Keller Williams.
Hello, this is David James with Keller Williams, and spring is in the air. So I'm going to try something new. Here is my first housing market update. All right, guys, today the Feds announced they're going to increase interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. There's also further speculation that they may increase interest rates 2 more times this year, in June and December. So what that means is the average 30-year fixed mortgage could be as high as 5% by the end of the year. So now certainly is a great time to take action if you're considering buying a home this year. Please let me know if I can help.
Okay, so looks like he's a realtor. Famous night out in New York Fashion Week. So these must have been during his Diddy years, huh? Diddy blog. Gas prices are too high. We're just looking at different stuff. Doesn't really have a lot of stuff on here. So a lot of these videos are pretty old. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. Now, this is his personal assistant, the OG Diddy. This is what he has on his page. Okay, so we just kind of wasting time here, and then we kind of can jump and see, if they have some more updates, because like I said, they're on break. Okay, so this is, I think that's the same video. Let's see what this is. Okay, so we can't play that, but let's,
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy David James coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. We're out here for the Super Bowl. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm enjoying a nice sunrise, and I figured it's time to do another Reality Wanted blog. So today, I bring you Reality Wanted blog number 3. I don't know if you know this or not, but my blogs became kind of popular. So I figured, you got to raise your game up, David. So today, I bring this blog exclusively from the beachfront. And I figure, well, if you're going to raise the scenery up, why don't you raise the blog game up too? So today is my first interview on Reality Wanted. And I have a very special guest. Somebody you know, somebody I work with, my man, Mike Barber. Welcome to my world. This is the Reality Wanted blog world that I've kind of created.
It's a pretty world.
Yeah, we upgrade the scenery. Today we come from the beach. Tomorrow we might be in LA or France or on a boat. Yeah, who knows where we'll be? I don't know where we'll be, but we'll be here in Reality Wanted. And I kind of brought you as a resource for the website because there's so many people out there who want to be on reality television. So today we actually get to talk to a person who made it through the grind, who was successful, who actually won their show. And you know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can, get some knowledge from you, man.
Okay. No doubt. I'm in. Anything you want, I'm in.
Cool.
I'm here to talk to the people.
Cool. So Mike, tell the audience out there what it's like to be on a reality TV show.
I mean, to each his own. You know what I mean? To be honest, it was fun for me. It was a gift and a curse. You got to understand that you're on TV. Your life is broadcasted every second of the day. You know what I mean? When you wake up to when you fall asleep to when you wake up again, your life is broadcasted. But if I had to do it all over again, I'd definitely do it.
I can only imagine what it's like to have a camera on you all the time. I mean, it's gotta be stressful.
Okay, guys, so we got a few little updates here that we can talk about. I was just wasting time because there's really nothing, for us to do. We're waiting for the court to reconvene. They have completed the testimony for David James. So that's done. And right now we expect Cassie's mom to come on after lunch. So we're just going to keep this thing going. There's no need for me to where's my losing stuff? Where is my, okay. So there's no need for us to come back. We're just going to keep it going, but we're going to get into some more live updates, y'all. So again, we're waiting for it would be Cassie's mom. Okay. So colorful cross-examination of David James concludes. Okay. Let's see. I want to go with that. . Okay, let's kind of go back. Let's kind of work our way up because that's kind of how this goes. Okay, so we talked about him being prepped by the prosecutors, if y'all remember. So James Combs scolded him for altercation with the female chef. So if y'all remember, and I'm gonna kind of explain it again, y'all gonna see that I repeat stuff a lot, and that's simply because people come and go, and if they don't know what I last said, although some people may know, some people may not. So what we do is we do the inner city press because they have the live updates with the court. They're in the court. But the thing with inner city press is a lot of shorthand, and sometimes you really don't understand, what they're saying because it's kind of cut off. But what I do like, with regards to the Washington Post, they kind of give you the full dialogue, but it's very delayed. So if we were going to do, the Washington Post, we would actually have to start probably like 3 hours after the trial, because keep in mind, if they're putting all of this, if you guys can see all of the information that they're putting out, it's a lot. So it takes some minutes to kind of get that uploaded. So let's get going and kind of backtrack and kind of get the full context of what we read in the inner city press tweets, but this is kind of like the full dialogue. So more details emerge of what it's like to be Combs' assistant. Other notable moments from the defense ongoing cross-examination of Sean Combs' former assistant, David James. James said he was prepped by prosecutors Tuesday morning for defense attorney Mark Anifilo's questioning. This is normal. Anifilo, who appeared to not expect the detail, responded, fair enough. And how did I do? He said, consistent. The government witnesses also gave more detail about how Combs ran his company, saying he was involved with everything. James also said he worked about 21 days straight, crediting his work ethic to being raised in Flint, Michigan. Another assistant, he said, once went to the hospital. Remember, we talked about the dehydration for the 24 hours. Now, James said that Combs security detail used to have the saying, if you're tired, you're fired. So we just kind of re-going over that. Now, the applesauce on Combs' hotel riders, by the way, we all know that he liked applesauce on his cheeseburgers. That's so nasty. Okay. So James said he was annoyed with the chef seeming to tell him what to do. Now, if y'all remember, James said that he quit because pretty much he said he didn't want to die. He said this was a very bad place to work. And he said he pretty much quit because he said he didn't want to die, in so many words. So now we're getting into the confrontation that he had with the chef. Now, he said he was annoyed by the chef. Now, keep in mind, the chef was a female. He was annoyed by her. He grabbed her wrist and told her to stay in her effing lane. So apparently he's saying that this person was telling him what to do, and he just wanted the person to move around. Now, Anifilo asks what consequences James faced as a result of that encounter. James recalled that Combs asked him what happened, then told James, man, you cannot be putting your hands on women. You do it again, I'm going to have to let you go. So if y'all been here, for the last 2 hours or so, if y'all recall, I said I like the inner city press, but they can't really give us all of the context because, they're like live tweeting. So we missed that part because, inner city press, they didn't put that part in. So what Combs said, because Agnifilo asked him what was the consequences, James said that, Combs told him, man, if you grab another woman, I'm going to have to let you go. James recalled Combs telling him this. He said Combs told him that he needed to write the chef a note and get her a gift. And remember, when I was reading it from Inner City Press, he was like, well, what gift did you get her? He said, I rolled her a blunt. Right. So that's pretty much what was said. Now, they are also saying, with regards to that situation with this former assistant that they saying that Mark Anifilo threw a curveball during his cross-examination of James, because he brought up that incident. Like, dude, are you choking? You know, what's going on with you? Have you ever choked the personal assistant? What happened with you and Chef Jordan? Now, Chef Jordan's, her real name is Jordan Atkinson. Now, she is expected to testify this week as well. Now, James answered that he hadn't. So I guess he said he didn't choke her, but the government objected to the line of questioning. And remember, I talked about they had a brief sidebar. Now, what happens in sidebars is we don't know what they're saying. You know, apparently the government, they don't want that information to come in, that James was a little bit violent himself. You know, did you choke her or did you grab her wrist? So we don't know. Based on what he's saying is that he grabbed her wrist. Now, what I'm wondering, is the defense going to try to bring somebody in to say that this assistant really did something out of line? Because if they can get somebody to say that this dude really choked this lady or he really put his hands on the lady, then what the defense can now say is, y'all don't believe what you know the assistant was saying because he has proved to be a liar. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll keep watching. But it looks like this assistant done did something. I mean, and that doesn't mean that because he grabbed some woman's wrist or did whatever he did that he's not a credible witness. But what makes him uncredible is when you lie. You know what I mean? So let's say he did do this, to get on the stand and say he did it and just own it would be more honest to say that he didn't do it. And I don't know if he did it or not. I'm just kind of throwing that speculation out there. Now, during the redirect, the government asked David James if Sean Combs, where did I just left my, if Sean Combs himself ever got violent with Jordan Atkinson. Now, Jordan Atkinson is the same lady that they saying he had this altercation with, which is his personal chef. Chef James replied that there was an incident at Combs' Alpine, New Jersey home. James said Combs instructed him to file a police report saying that Atkinson was the aggressor and hit Combs. So I don't know what's going on with this Jordan lady, but it seems like, you know, she had some kind of incident with two people, and I don't know who she put her hands on, but it seems like James was told by his boss, Combs, call the police, file a police report that this woman put her hands on me. Now, the former personal assistant said he did not want to make a false police report. So he drove around New Jersey for an hour before returning to Combs' home, where he lied and told his boss that he reported the incident. Okay, I'm gonna block your ass. I'm doing a thing and you fucking keep you blocked. Okay, stop fucking texting me, idiot. Okay, so it looks like, okay, now y'all, we getting some more context. Like, you know, I hope y'all following me. Inner City Press is good, but they miss out so much good information. So it appears that there was some kind of incident between Combs and his assistant. But what this, you know, previous assistant is really saying is that maybe Combs wanted him to file a false police report. That's kind of what he's saying. He said he didn't want to file a false police report. So he drove around and pretty much lied. And he said that he drove around New Jersey for an hour before returning to Combs' home, where he lied and told his boss that the report had been filed. Now, this ain't good, y'all, because this is not making P. Diddy look good at all, but I don't know how good he can look. Now, remember we talked about Cassie's mother. Now, Cassie's mother is coming up next, and that should be very interesting. So they're on lunch break, and she is going to be the next person to, you know, basically come on to testify. So I'm looking, you know, forward to that. But pretty much that is to rehash what this testimony was all about. Y'all give me a second. Okay, y'all. So that's really to recount, the testimony, which I told y'all that's really good. So this is I think y'all after lunch, y'all, it's gonna get mad crazy because Cassie mother is going to testify to a lot of the things that her daughter has said. Now, let's see what they saying here. Now, can y'all see this? Okay, good. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all can see it good. All right, now on the one final exchange from an eventful cross-examination of Sean Combs, former personal assistant David James, defense attorney Mark Anifilo asked James about an encounter he had with Roger Bonds and two female SEX workers. Bonds was a security guard for Combs. James said he was not aware at the time that the women were SEX workers. He and Bonds met the women for drinks and dinner at a hotel. Then he brought them back to Combs' home. Combs was not there at the time. This is what James said. After they had relations, James said Bonds told him to pay one of the women $200. James didn't part with that money for long. Though. Prompted by Agnifilo, he explained that the night ended with the woman wanting to take a shower, which James charged her $200 for. What? Agnifilo was tickled, laughing at James' response. So you got your money back, the lawyer said. Okay, so it looks like James had some prostitutes with Roger Bonds. It looked like they charged $200. So he paid her the $200, but then later came back and said, the woman said she needed to take a shower. So he like, look, I'm going to charge you $200 for the shower. So initially, although he paid for SEX, what he's saying is he got his money back. So what we're waiting for Cassie's mom after lunch. And then we're going to see are there some more updates from y'all, I can't get it out of my mind, from Inner City Press. Okay, you say you think that this is the guy that quit after he seen Cassie get abused. This guy is good. So this is bad for the defense. They're probably putting out the information too quickly and not even it. Yes, Kay. So what Inner City Press is doing, they're giving us something, but it's kind of like missing, like it's missing pieces. So it's like, that's why I try to go to the Washington Post. And wait a minute, and who I see, hey Harper Blue, I see you in the chat. Now Harper Blue was the one like, can you please talk about the Diddy trial? So in all honesty, y'all, give her a shout out because I wasn't covering the Diddy trial, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I really don't like talking about stuff that everybody else is talking about, because I just don't. But I mean, if y'all want me to talk about the Diddy trial, just like the video and share the video. Do your best and I'll do my best. But I was not going to talk about the Diddy trial because I'm like, look, everybody and their mama is talking about the Diddy trial. So, I'm going to try it and see how this goes. And shout out to Harper Blue for, giving me all the resources and telling me like, do this, do that. So I was like, okay, I appreciate you, girl. So we toggle between the different ones. Like I said, I love the Washington Post. I mean, I like all the resources. It's just that one is a little crazy while the other one is okay. So I don't think there are going to be any more updates. Keep in mind the Washington Post is just delayed. So they're kind of putting out stuff that, they probably already put out. It just hadn't updated yet. Okay. What are we saying now? Wait a minute, y'all. Did they start? I think wait a minute, y'all. I think they started. Let me see. Who else was there? All right. I'm just trying to see because I'm thinking that they started. Let me just see my other little source here, y'all. Maybe lunch is for 45 minutes. Let me just try because I'm trying to see. Give me a second. All right. So we're just waiting for them to get started, y'all. Now, keep in mind too, y'all, with regards to his, Cassie's mom. Now, Cassie's mom is going to be very important because she's going to testify to the money. If y'all remember, originally when I started the video, they talked about Diddy pretty much demanding Cassie's mama send him, was it 20,000, 22,000, something to that nature. So she's going to talk about that. And I believe, and like I said before, the thing is one of the things is to show that he runs a corrupt organization. Okay, y'all, it looks like we got Cassie's mom on the stand, y'all. So let's get into it. They are back from lunch. Let's get it. All right, they back from lunch. I thought it was an hour, but it looks like they done started, child. They done started. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right, so it looks like we got Cassie's mom on the stand, y'all. Oh, give me a second. Cassie's mother is on the stand. This is Regina. And as I was stating, Regina is going to testify, I'm sure, to a lot of the abuse. She's going to testify to the money that was, that she had to send him because he was like, lady, give me my money back. So just give me a second while I update it, all of my different. Okay, that one hasn't updated yet. All right, y'all. So give me 1 second here. All right, y'all. Just give me a second. All right, y'all. Just give me a second. All right, we're gonna divert. I got another source here. Y'all, we still got our people over at Inner City Press. I love them, but I need some full context right about now. So let's jump over to the Mirror. Now, the Mirror is another source that's covering this in real time. And I mean, I need some full context. Okay. Now, P. Diddy's trial is live. Cassie's mother recalls first meeting with Combs as she takes the stand. So remember, I told y'all that Cassie's mom is going to take the stand. Okay. Okay. So let's get into it. I just want to make sure that this is, are they giving us some update? Okay, good. Okay, I like this better, y'all. So we're going to flip and flop. Okay, Cassie's mother recalls meeting Combs. Prosecutor Emily Johnson asked Regina Ventura to identify Combs in a photo and explain how she knew him. Cassie's mom said, he dated my daughter, she replied. Regina said she first met Combs in 2006 when her daughter, Cassie Ventura, signed with record label Bad Boy Records. She said when her daughter and Combs started dating in New York, she'd see her daughter about 3 or 4 times a year. I don't know. Now, okay. She said that she on y'all. I'm so sorry. Let me go grab some tissue. They need to turn it down, air down, because I'm about to freeze. Man, they got the air up so high in my house. I am turning into a freaking frost. Okay, so Cassie's mom said that when Combs started dating her daughter, that she would see her daughter about 3 or 4 times a year. Oh, that's not a lot, but I don't know, depending on where they live. Regina said she saw Cassie less frequent when she moved to California with Combs, usually around the holidays. So just so y'all know too, I shouldn't say they didn't live together. So maybe I guess she means, in terms of when they were together, because they didn't live together. She said it was harder to get to her. This is what Regina is saying. All right, so let's see. Is it so? All right, so we just let's jump over to our next one. Y'all know how we do it. This is how we do it. All right, let's see what they saying over at Inner City Press because we got Cassie's mom on the stand. What is going on here? Is Cassie mama already off the stand? It looks like. All right, guys, let's get into what Inner City Press is saying. I love Inner City Press, but they should be all over the place because I don't understand. Is Cassie's mom already off the stand? It looks like, let's go up. All right, let's go up. Yeah, we're going to probably skip over Inner City Press because when I look at Inner City Press, they're saying something about a Sheree Hayes, but Cassie's mom is Regina. So it's a little bit confusing here. All right, so we're gonna jump back over to the other source because something with Inner City Press is just not adding up. So let me jump back over to, what is it? The Mirror. Let's see what they're saying because I don't know what the hell Inner City Press is doing. All right. Okay, so what they're saying here, y'all, is, let me share my screen again. All right, so we're back on the Mirror here. Now, what they're saying is the jury has been shown photos of Cassie following alleged assault. The jury has been shown photos of Cassie Ventura that her mother took in December 2011. Regina testified she took the photos to keep the evidence after Combs allegedly physically assaulted her daughter. She was bruised, and I wanted to make sure that we memorialized it, Regina said. She told the court that her daughter said she was beaten by Sean Combs. Regina said December 2011 was the first time her daughter told her about Combs being physical with her. She testified about a time she read a blind item about a celebrity getting beat up in a car with no names included. Regina said she asked her daughter if it was about her, but Cassie told her it wasn't. Oh, what happened? Okay, that just updated so fast. Wait a minute, y'all. It updated and I lost my place. Okay, she said she read a blind item about a celebrity getting beat up in a car with no names included. Regina said she asked her daughter, was it about her? But Cassie told her it wasn't. It wasn't about her or Combs. Okay, so this is really updating fast. I like this. Okay, so argument led to policeman call. Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina, said she visited her daughter and Combs in Los Angeles in August of 2016. It was for Cassie's 30th birthday. Regina said she got into a bitter argument with Combs outside of Cassie's apartment after he stole Cassie's phone. Oh, y'all, I like the Mirror. Y'all see how it's updating like that? I love it. Okay, we got a new little source here. Okay, so she said she got into a bitter argument with Combs outside of Cassie's apartment after he stole Cassie's phone. Regina said she called the police. Now, if y'all remember what Cassie testified to, and the mother is, she actually corroborating Cassie's testimony, is that he would take her phone, take her her passport. And if y'all recall, Cassie said that after he took her phone, her mother called the police. So we like connecting the dots here. She said, we were arguing about the phone. I wanted the phone back and he was holding it. She said one of Combs' security guards stood between them, and she said I was yelling, screaming, and trying to hit him. She said that she was not able to hit him. Regina said Combs eventually gave her the phone, but he took Cassie's car. Regina Ventura has left the witness stand. Combs' defense attorneys did not cross-examine her. I don't have any further questions for you. Defense attorney Mark Anifilo said, okay, y'all. I'm becoming a pro at this, y'all. Hey. Okay, so the reason why inner city press really don't have anything, because she literally was on the stand for no amount of time. So Cassie's mom is off the stage. They did not cross-examine her, which that's probably a great strategy because she really didn't tell us anything new. She pretty much said what we already knew. She said he took Cassie's phone. She said that he was abusive. She said that pretty much that's it. So everything that Cassie's mom said, it's already stuff that we know. So why are you going to cross-examine her? Because you don't want to dig a hole for yourself. So the reason why Cassie's mom is off the stand is because they don't have any further questions. So it makes sense because now they're bringing the ecstatic dancer, whatever, Sheree Hayes. Now this person takes the stand, which when I was looking at X, I was like, who is this Sheree Hayes? So this is an exotic dancers. Now, prosecutors have now called Sheree Hayes to the stand. Now, this person worked as a male exotic dancer with the stage name Punisher from 2012 to 2016. Now, I want to show y'all something else. Give me a moment. I want to show y'all something else because I don't know if y'all were able to follow this, but last night they actually released pictures. And I said, why did they do this? So they actually released pictures of the people that were the male escorts, y'all. And I'm going to have to divert from here a second so I can let y'all see it. And then we're going to jump back into it. All right. So this was Sheree Hayes. So these are the people now. They have all of these people, and some of them they are unidentified, right? So these are the people that they released yesterday. All of these male escorts, which is crazy because the guy that they have on here, Sheree Hayes, why is this person not a part of that list? All right. Okay, so let's get back into what we were doing. So we got a male escort on the stand. All right, so Sheree Hayes take the stand. This was somebody that worked for Diddy. Worked for Diddy escort for several years. Okay. Now let me see if it's been updated, y'all. And I gotta go back out and come back in. Give me a second. All right, y'all. So let's see if it updated. So give me a second here. All right, so we still waiting for them to update it with this, this exotic dancer. They haven't really said anything. We know Cassie mom has left the stand. So just waiting, y'all, to see what the updates are. So while we waiting, I'm going to jump over to another source. Y'all know how we do it. We're just going to jump over here and see what's going on. Ooh, y'all. Ooh. All right. So while we waiting for that, let's jump on over to the Washington Post. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. This ain't looking good for him. All right. So we're going to jump back over to the Washington Post. And let's just start from the top. Now, this was updated 4 minutes ago. Now, the jurors previously heard testimony that Sean Combs was livid that Cassie had been dating rapper Kid Cudi. Now, if y'all remember when we first started this, what they stated was, pissed that she was messing with Kid Cudi. One of the reasons why he was furious is because he introduced her to Kid Cudi, but she was supposed to be making music and yada yada. But somehow she ended up in a relationship with Kid Cudi, right? So I mean, that can be looked at a few different ways. I mean, she's single, she can do what she wants, but the jury can look at it like, girl, dang, he introduced you to Kid Cudi. You start sleeping with him. He introduced you to the personal trainer. You start sleeping with him. Now, it's not a crime, but it does look a little crazy that you keep getting in these relationships with these people. So what ended up happening is he ended up introducing her to Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott. I ain't even finna try to pronounce that. Now, because Combs considered it an insult for her to see another hip hop celebrity, Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura, said that she subsequently wired. So Cassie's mom ended up giving Diddy his $20,000 back at his request, but Combs returned it after 5 to 4 days later. So here's the deal. He was mad. He like, look, you don't got it. Your mama needs to give me my money back. So whatever he spent, he like, look, you messing with this dude, Kid Cudi. I want my money back. That's what happened. So we gonna get into where Cassie's mama got the money from. Combs also allegedly threatened to release the sexually explicit videos of Cassie, according to the mother's testimony. Now, we didn't see that on Inner City Press. They left that out. So the mother did testify that he threatened to release these videos of Cassie, which makes sense. As a mother, she like, look, I'm gonna get him the money, because what mother wants those type of pictures and videos to be released of her, that's still her daughter, grown or not. So Regina says she received an email about the SEX tape release threat and felt physically sick. So this is now going into that coercion and, all of the stuff that we had not been seeing improve, and they proving it. So we don't know what it's going to look like. So the mama was sick to her stomach. Now, did you sin? Okay, it said that it was a threat. They sent her the threat. So maybe they didn't send her the tape, but that's enough. But y'all, listen to this. Listen to this part, because this is really disgusting. Okay, so remember I said that Cassie's mom had to pay $20,000. Now, this is not money that Cassie's mama owed Diddy. This is money that Diddy like, look, girl, your mama need to pay me, because if you ain't got it, I'm gonna go to your mama. Let your mama need to pay me. So Regina Ventura, which is Cassie's mom, says she took out a home equity loan in 2011 for $20,000 to satisfy a shakedown demand from Sean Combs, because she believed that he was going to harm her daughter, Cassie Ventura, the younger Ventura, who testified against Combs last week. I'm not sure why they say the younger Ventura. I don't understand what they mean. Who testified. Now, Cassie testified last week. Now, it says he visited her mother's home in Connecticut for the holidays that year with visible bruises on her body. So Cassie visited her mom's home in Connecticut and had visible bruises on her body, said Regina, who took photographs of those injuries that were shown to the jury during her testimony. I was scared for my daughter's safety, she testified. So can y'all understand why the defense did not ask her mother any questions? Because y'all are in a hole that y'all need to get up out of. So the mom has testified that she had to take out a home equity loan to give him $20,000. Now, he did give her the money back, but I mean, should that have happened? Now, it says, why did Sean Diddy Combs and Suge Knight why were they in rivals for decades? Now, Marion, which is Suge Knight, who has come up in testimony this week, was at the center of the East Coast, West Coast rivalry with Sean Diddy Combs. Now, I mean, if y'all old as me, you know about the 1990s hip hop scene. Combs' New York City label Bad Boy Records dominated hip hop on the East Coast, boasting the notorious B.I.G., if y'all remember, aka Biggie, among its star performers on the West Coast, which is Tupac Shakur became one of the biggest artists signed to Death Row. Oh, y'all, I love those days. Oh my God, I really did. I just really hate that any of that happened. Like Biggie and Tupac, what I would do to, have a new song from them. So remember, they have the SEX worker on the stand. Okay. Cassie's mom has left. But let's get into what she said before she left. Cassie's mother, Regina Ventura, said her daughter first told her Sean Combs was fit. Wait, I think I read that already. Did I read that? Yeah, I read that already. Okay, so now Sheree Haynes, of 51, is a male exotic dancer from Harlem whose stage name was the Punisher. Now, Cassie testified last week that Haynes participated in the freak-offs, or I know they call them Mad King Nights, with her and Sean Combs. Haynes said he was hired for the first time in 2012. Now, Sean Combs' lead counsel, which is Mark Anifilo, declined to cross-examine Regina. Remember, we talked about that. So she testified. She was not on the stand long, and he did not cross-examine her. I mean, I don't know why he would. Now, Sheree Haynes is bald and muscular, wearing a black suit and tie. He also speaks with a bit of a lisp. Haynes explained his Punisher nickname, saying it was given to him as a teen and was inspired by his style of play on the basketball court. He has a website for his exotic dancing services, getpunished.com. And better not nobody go to his website. Y'all better not be going to that man's website, getpunished.com. Y'all, let's go to his website. This is sick. When you thought your life needed some help, baby. Wait a minute. What is it? Getpunished.com. Y'all, let's go to his website. Getpunished.com. He need to get punished. All right, let's go to this man's website. All right, so this is the guy that's on stage. Or on the, witness stand, whatever y'all want to call it. Y'all, let's get into his his website, y'all. Getpunished.com. So this is a male stripper dude. Yeah, I guess his his sales probably gonna go up. So this is him, y'all. Look, this is him. Oh, it done took me to Facebook. Oh, look. Y'all, we got the Facebook. So this is him. This is his picture. Oops, wait, let me stop. Y'all can't see it. I don't like when it does that. So this is this guy's picture, Sheree Haynes. What they saying on, they like, hey, handsome. These girls be so desperate. All right, so let's jump back into the case and see what they're saying with regards to, what's going on. I just wanted to show y'all a picture of him, and we went to his website. But let's get back into what they're saying here. Okay, so that's his website is getpunished.com. Getpunished.com, honey. All right, I think that's it. All right, let's see. Let's flip-flop over. Let's see if anything else has been updated. They on lunch break again? I'm confused. Oh, y'all. Okay. That makes sense. So the first break was not a lunch break. That was a break, but they was gone for like 40 minutes. So now they're on lunch break. Y'all, maybe they could get this shit done if they stop taking all these breaks. All right. It looks like. So y'all, it looked like what I'm saying. If y'all see this, it says 2 minutes ago that they're on lunch break, but I'm so confused because I thought the first one was a lunch break. So I'm wrong. The first break was actually a break. Okay, so they was gone for like 40 minutes. Okay. All right, let's see. I just want to make sure, y'all. Yep, it looks like they are. Cause look here, y'all. They're actually on break this time. He said, "How does he punish?" Okay, and if doing that while, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They proving these charges, so I don't know what the defense has, but they better come up with something. Or they better continue to cast doubt. So, y'all, they on break. I'm just going back to the inner city press. So it says 4 minutes ago, judge break. Why they keep saying break? That's what's throwing me off. Why come they just can't say lunch? Okay. And so if y'all can see, like, y'all can kind of see the differences in, what inner city they put out, some information, but it's not like the whole thing is really cut down, which I get. Yeah, so they on break. They are really on break, but I wish they would say lunch because they're on lunch now. So that's pretty much it, but that's fine. We're gonna go and check out some other sources while we wait. Yeah, right. When they break, they break. Because I thought the last break was lunch, but now that I go back and look, I think that first break was a break, and now this one is lunch. Because I'm like, wait a minute. But I would imagine, being on there for that amount of time that y'all, let's look at the Punisher. Get punished, child. Let's look at his website. So here's the Punisher. This is the guy that was just on there. This is his website. Male strip charade Punisher Haynes. All right. I guess. So let me jump into some other sources, y'all. So we got the Inner City Press, we got the Mirror. Where's my little, let me kind of X off which ones I got up here. Do I got the New York Post? Give me a second, y'all. I'm about to get some more sources up here and see what they reporting. I'm about to see what the New York Post is, what they saying. Okay, the New York Post they really delayed. Oh my gosh, they don't even, yeah, they haven't even updated it with Cassie's mom. Oh, yes, they did. Okay, they're on break. And I mean, now that I'm looking at this is pretty much nothing that we have not already said. My nose is running, y'all. They got the air up on. It's so cold in here. All right, so I'm just jumping to different ones. I got the New York Post up here. I got the Washington Post. I got Inner City Press. Let's try CNN, y'all. Let's see what CNN is saying. Let's see what CNN is saying, y'all. CNN. Y'all, this is the longest I have ever. Y'all, I've been on live almost 4 hours. OMG. Y'all know I ain't never been on here this long. All right, so the jury is gone. Everybody, okay, so yeah, they are on lunch break because I'm checking out different sources here, and they are on break. All right, I'm just looking. All right, so listen, y'all. I found some more. That's why I said you gotta try different sites here, but I did find a little bit more of context to what this male stripper testified about. Where did it go? Okay, there we go. Well, okay, that's CNN. Okay, so let's get into what they're saying on CNN, because I got some more context to what this male stripper just stated when he was on stage. On the stand. So that's another thing too about this. We're kind of getting a lot of it, but some of it is not as lengthy as others. So as you can see, jury is dismissed, and they won't be back until 1:00. So they must get a 30-minute lunch. Okay. So Haynes didn't realize man in hotel room was Combs. He says of first encounter. Sheree Haynes testified about his first interaction with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs at Trump International Hotel in New York City. Said he didn't know the man in the room was Combs. On another occasion, when he joined Combs and Ventura at a hotel, Haynes testified the TV displayed a message. What? Okay, so the Essex Hotel would like to welcome Mr. Combs. Haynes said he was a fan of Combs and already followed him on social media at the time. After he saw the TV messages, Haynes recognized Ventura from photos of the couple together, he said. Haynes joined the couple for similar interactions about 8 to 12 times in total, he testified. Okay, male escort says Combs gave Ventura subtle directions during their encounter. So, that's not, so testifying more about the first encounter he had with Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura. Sheree Haynes said he followed Ventura's lead and mimicked what she did. Haynes said that when Ventura began to pour baby oil on herself, he did too. Eventually, he saw a man enter the room, he testified. Haynes recalled that Combs would speak to Ventura, giving subtle directions, including adjustments he wanted to the lighting and how her body was positioned. Haynes said that at the end of the encounter, Ventura thanked him and handed him an additional $1,200. Okay, so I wonder how much did he make? Haynes further describes his first encounter with Combs and Ventura in the hotel. Sheree Haynes continued describing his first encounter with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs at the International Hotel in New York City. He said Ventura greeted him at the door in a robe when he arrived, and he believed she was also wearing a wig. He said he did not recognize her at the time he didn't recognize her at the time, and this is what he testified. Ventura invited him into the suite, and she explained that she didn't want him to actually dance. She told him her and her husband like to create a sexy scene involving the application of baby oil, and that her husband eventually would come out to watch. Now, this is what this guy testified. After explaining the situation, Ventura handed him a stack of cash and said he could change into underwear or a towel in the bathroom. He counted $800 in cash, then slipped into a towel, he said. Now, I don't know what the pay is, but this seemed like they're not getting paid correctly. $800 for all of that? Yeah, that don't seem right. Haynes detailed the first time he met Ventura and Combs. Sheree Haynes testified that he met Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura sometime in the fall of 2012. He said he first got a call from Ventura, who told him her name was Janet. She said it was her birthday, and her husband said she could hire an ecstatic dancer. Am I saying that right? Ecstatic dancer? For the occasion. He said he believes they found him through his website. Haynes said he met Combs and Ventura at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. That this was the first time. He said he believed he was going there to provide a 30 or 40-minute striptease dance for a small group. And he stayed, I mean, was the man there all night? Because I'm like, $800 don't seem like the right price. I mean, so he thought he was staying for 30 to 45 minutes. So, okay, that's why he took the $800. I just want to know, is they giving these folks $800 for all night? Because y'all is getting shorted. That ain't right. They didn't even check medical records. They just pulling people. Yeah, that's, you know what? I don't know what the hell they doing. And then talking about they didn't use protection. Isn't that weird? Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so all right, so we kind of read that already. We talked about the phone. So that kind of gave us some more insight into, everything. Because like I told y'all before, some of these, stations that's reporting this, they don't give you everything. So you literally are jumping from one to the other. Okay. You're jumping from one to the other. So we had CNN. I'm just kind of checking them off so I know which ones I got up. Let's see what other one we can get to, y'all. Let's see what they saying. Okay, so pretty much reporting the same thing. I'm just gonna peruse through here and see what information we can find that hasn't already been said. And that's kind of how we kind of pull the information together. All right, so all of that is pretty up to date. Let's go to CBS, y'all. I'm about to go to CBS and see what they got. All right, let's see what CBS is saying. Ooh, CBS is just real behind. We don't even got to pull them up. They say 19 hours ago, Dawn Richards, baby, y'all need to get with the program. Why would they be? Yeah, CBS is really behind. They don't have anything up from yesterday. Oh, we don't even need to click on that. Let's look at NBC. Okay, so NBC, we can mess with them because they got 10 minutes ago. Let's see. All right, so we can kind of go over what they're saying on NBC, y'all. I mean, it's kind of redundant. It's a little redundant, but like I said, we get the information from various sources. And I don't know about y'all, but reading this stuff, I'm kind of learning a lot just by doing this. So let's just go over and see what they're saying on NBC. Where did it go? Okay, NBC. So NBC, let's get into what they're saying. All right. So we got Diddy's ex-worker, where the sex trafficking trial stands. David James, which is Combs' former personal assistant, took the witness stand today, followed by Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura, and a male exotic dancer, Sheree Haynes, who goes by the nickname as Punisher. Regina Ventura said she documented Casey's bruises, allegedly receiving at the hands of Combs. So the mother decided to take pictures and have proof that this happened to her daughter. She once called the police on Combs when he took Cassie's phone and that he demanded $20,000 in exchange for a sex tape with Cassie in it. Now, if y'all remember, this is all, corroborated by what Cassie said. The government is expected to call Combs' former chef, Jordan Atkinson, to the stand. So Jordan Atkinson is going to take the stand off. Y'all remember, Jordan is the lady that okay, let me make it a little bit plain. So Jordan is the chef, but she's also the chef that the former assistant got into an altercation with. So she's supposed to take the stand today. Now, let's go over the charges, y'all. Combs faces 5 criminal counts. 1 count of racketeering and conspiracy. I feel like today they have really honed in on that racketeering conspiracy. 2 counts of sex trafficking by force. I don't know if they really proved that one. I mean, but they still got time. But I think the racketeering, they really pounded that today. So fraud or corrosion. You know what? Let me get up this because I cannot say coercion to save my life. So give me a second because I don't like when I can't pronounce words. I keep saying corrosion. Let me get my little. Because I don't like that. Let me get my little pronunciation up here because this word is getting on my damn nerves. All right, we about to pronounce this word because I keep saying it wrong. Corrosion. I keep saying corrosion. Corrosion. Coercion. I keep saying it wrong. Okay, so, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has, he's denied the allegations against him. So these are his charges, y'all. This is what the people saying that he did. This is what they're saying that he did. So pretty much they have adjourned for their lunch break. We know the male stripper Punisher took the stand. What he's saying is that he's saying that he was paid $800. I'm just interested to know how long was he there because $800 don't seem correct.
Coercion.
Okay, coercion. It's that whatever. Okay, so he was paid $800, okay? And he said that he was told to create a sexy scene, yada, yada. So this is pretty much what we read, y'all, with regards to everything. So we just waiting on them to come back from break, y'all. And I'm about to run my tail to the bathroom. I've been on here for like 4 hours and I need to get some water or something because I'm dry as ever. So give me a few minutes here. Let me run and get some water.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop. tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Late Keisha, queen.
And thank y'all for being patient. If y'all follow me, y'all know I do not do lives. And in doing a live, this is long. We've been on here almost 4 hours. So as I do these, I will get better. But as y'all can see, if y'all follow me, I don't do lives. But, you know, with regards to this trial, I'll do it. And, you know, as I do it, I'll get better. But just so y'all know, a live video and you know, when you guys watch my videos, they're very different. When I create videos, it's different. Like I turn the camera on and, you know, I'm creating a video, whereas live, everything is live. And with the live videos, if y'all got to make sure y'all hitting the like button. Because what happens is when you're a creator and you create live videos, and let's say if you do more regular videos, the algorithm doesn't push your lives. That's why if y'all can see it's not a lot of people here, it's because I just don't do lives. So the only way to kind of beat that is you gotta, you know, do more lives. So I said I was going to start doing them once every day. But I said, you know, with regards to this Diddy situation, since people wanted me to kind of talk about it, I said, okay, so I can kind of start with this. So once this trial is over, obviously I'm not going to be on here for 5 and 6 hours, but I'm strictly only doing it, you know, because of this trial. So I don't think they're back yet. I'm just checking in to see, but I don't, no, they're not back yet. Yep, so they're not back. I believe it's 30 minutes though, because it said it. I thought I read somewhere where it said they would be back at 1 o'clock. But I could be wrong. I thought that's what they said. So let me just look. I can just look for more information. I don't believe there's anything out because right now we're at the break. So anything that we would have missed out on, they would have caught up with it by now. So y'all hold on. We got 2 more hours to go. So they said it's going to be over at 3. So I think tomorrow I'm going to start at 8:45. And we could probably just review some of this and, you know, kind of start with tomorrow. So as I look, so I'm looking at different and various, you know, different reporting, and there's nothing, you know, nothing is pretty much updated. So they're still on break. They are still on break here. The Washington Post is doing a great job, by the way. So I thought I read somewhere where it said they were coming back at 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. Let's get this show on the road. Where y'all at? Put it in the chat. Y'all at work? What y'all doing? Where y'all at? Where y'all watching from? Y'all at work? All right, y'all. So we just awaiting. So also, y'all tell me this. Would y'all prefer me to like stop it and restart it, or just like put my little be right back banner up? What do y'all prefer? Because like I said, I've never been on here this long, but look, I be having to go to the bathroom, child. So if I got to get some water or whatever, do y'all prefer that I stop the live and maybe restart it? What do y'all prefer? Do y'all think that this would be a good way going forward? Do y'all think we should just do it, and then when it's lunch, you know, with the court, we come back? What y'all think? Y'all let me know in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, however y'all want to do it at this point, y'all kind of just let me know. Okay, so we still waiting for them to come back. Yeah, so there's no updates, y'all. We just kind of waiting around. Let me see if I can find something else to review while we wait. Just give me a second here. So I think what I'm gonna do, y'all, is I'm gonna end it and I'm gonna restart it, y'all. Let's just do it that way. I'm gonna see y'all back in like 15 minutes.